You can step into my world, see the way I see it, no matter near or far. It is a sight worth seeing. Step into my world, see the way I see it. Rivah TV.
Rivah TV. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. I want to say hello, everybody who is joining me on this evening. New York Rangers, hello, how are you? It says Salute Rivah TV. Thank you so much for joining me. Chris G, Rivah TV, thanks. You shine a bit. Well, thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Cause I'm trying. Okay. Montel Jackson says, hello, Mrs. Rivah. Hello, Goldie, as always, with the word blessings. Blessings to you as well, Goldie. John Doe, nice to see you. Kendrell came up in here early doing his job. Okay, you are on your job. Okay, nobody can say nothing to Kendrell. So make sure that when you guys are coming in, that you do hit that like button, share this content. You know, be active in the comment section, and of course subscribe to this channel. So I do want to say Kendra for coming really early and dropping this note. Eugene Steele, hello Eugene, good evening. Kashan, hello. Edward said, ooh, came through with the all white. Hello, rock the all white when I'm feeling godly. No, I'm just playing. I don't want to say this name wrong. I think it's the last part. I think it says Yahawada, and it says hello Rivah. Hello, thank you so much for joining me. Shannon Clark, hello. Okay, again, I'm gonna leave this comment on the top of the screen. I'm sorry, at the bottom of the screen for you guys, if I can get to it. I be having some trouble sometimes getting to the comments whenever I pass them. But make sure you guys, when you do come into the chat, that you guys are hitting that like button, of course, as Kendra said. So what I found, okay, a rhythm that I found is that I always end up reacting to a video, obviously every single day. You guys know your girl Rivah drop a video every single day, sometimes more than once a day, okay? And I kind of wanted to tie this conversation with that. So when I did my reaction video earlier, if you have not checked it out, please check it out. It's on my channel. I did a reaction video, and I was reacting to a lady who was saying that, oh, thank you for dropping it again, Kendra, because I couldn't find it. I was reacting to a lady who was saying that, like, it doesn't matter, come as you are, like, it doesn't matter, what's going on. If a man is trying to tell you how to dress, that's the first red flag. If a man is trying to tell you maybe how to wear your hair, that's the first red flag. And at the end of the day, like, you're your own person, you're a grown woman, and if he don't like it, he can kick rocks, because why would you I don't know the exact verbiage you use, but basically, like, you're an adult, you're not a child, right? And it got me thinking, because so many women always constantly talk about the fact that they don't want to change for a relationship, right? Like, they feel like it's beneath them to change within their relationships. They feel like, they should be a stickler. They should be able to just do, what it is that they're doing. Whether it's, if they want to dress scandalous, if they want to go out with their friends every night, if they want to, just do whatever it is that they want to do, they should be able to be that whole entire person, differently, separate and apart from their relationship. And that person, that spouse that is with them, should not be able to tell them anything. So I kind of wanted to have this conversation with you guys, and I wanted to see if there is any parameters to that, right? Like, for me, I can answer the question. I firmly feel like you definitely have to be able to change, rearrange, elevate certain aspects of yourself to be in a committed relationship, a long-term relationship, a marriage. Just based off of the fact that, like, when you're with a person for a long period of time, you're always going to evolve and change, and things around you are always going to evolve and change. So if you go into the relationship apprehensive to change, apprehensive to growth, to evolution, it's going to be a really hard time for you to sustain that relationship and stay in that relationship for a long period of time. Now, this lady in the video was talking about like, oh no, like, uh, I'm not going to change my hair, or I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that because that's signs of control and all these kind of things, right? So I kind of wanted to open up the conversation to you all, okay? Especially when it comes to it, to, our men here in the chat. And I wanted to kind of figure out, where does that end, right? Like, is it just hairstyle? Is it just clothing? Is it just like, what parameters on that should a woman um basically state that she doesn't want to bend or whatever? I gave an example, and I'm going to drop the link. You guys can come up as soon as you want to, as soon as you're able. I know, especially for um Edward and oh, hey, uncle, say hey, Miss Lady. Hey, uncle, how are you? But I know for Edward and Kashawn, whoever, I dropped the link from early. But I just wanted to kind of dive into that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how far is too far? How far is not far enough? You know what I'm saying? Because in relationships, from what I've seen, I use the example that, like, working as a hairstylist for many, many years, I encountered so many different women that were married to high value men, and when you realize who these women are, right? They talk to these men, or they're in relationships married to these men, and maybe they've been married for a long time. Again, their husband is probably wealthy, and it becomes an aspect of like, oh, well, I hope he's gonna like my hairstyle. I hope he likes my hair color. I hope he likes, what it is that I'm getting done here in the salon. And if he does not only is she willing to change it, she doesn't want to let an entire day go by without that changing, because she understands the magnitude of her man being attracted to her. Okay, in my reaction video, I even said it. Like, he can pick, choose, refuse. He comes across so many different beautiful women all day long, especially like these men who work in corporate America that are, the boss. Okay. And even if they're not the boss, maybe they have a high rank, they have the work wives coming to make them lunch and all of these things. So she understands that I need to keep my space secure. Okay. I need to make sure that when he sees me, he's attracted to me. He's intrigued by me. He's interested in me. Not, ooh, why she look like an old lady, or ooh, why her hair look like that. You know what I'm saying? She's doing these things because she understands the importance of her space in her relationship with this man. Right. And so another thing that led me to this conversation was just that, oh, thank you so much. It says insurance agent $5. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Another thing that led me to this conversation is last week, we were doing the discussion, we were talking about single mothers. And, I one person called up. It was Corey. Okay, Corey called up and he was saying like, oh, well, if a situation happened, and that's just your stepdad, then you should have fought him, right? He was saying as a stepchild that you should have fought your stepdaddy, right? Because he ain't your real daddy and stuff like that. So I kind of want to dive into even in those aspects, like as a single mother, when you're in relationships and you're dating, right? And you have children already. At Is that an aspect of yourself that you are willing to change? Is that an aspect of yourself that people are expecting you to change? From going from having 100% your fulfillment, excuse me, your focus, everything is 100% on your children. But now you have a man. So that is another aspect of change. You have to change the fact that it's not going to be all about my kids all the time. It's not going to be all about like mommy. No, you can't come sleep in mommy bed anymore because now mommy have a man. So now I have to change this aspect of myself. I know that mommy is the one who is, usually the one who is telling you what to do and that kind of stuff. But now we have a head of household. Now there's a rank in the space. So now you guys are under me, but you're also under this man as well. That's an aspect of change. So I really, 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 really want to get into this conversation and just see what you guys think about it and just talk about it. You know, again, my answer 100%, you absolutely have to change, because in relationships, as time goes by, everything around you constantly changes. You have to be accepting of change in your relationship. Um, and okay, just being real as a woman, just being real with y'all and honest with y'all, like, you know, if you walk past your man and he don't feel nothing, there's a problem. Okay, there's a very big problem that you're facing, because you're putting everything at risk, because men are very visual creatures. Okay, so especially for something as, you know, I would say small, but I don't see it small, but especially something like your looks. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and bring up everybody. I see everybody who was waiting in the back. Thank you so much for joining. Please be patient with me. I am going to let everybody come up and speak. I definitely want to hear the male perspective of this, because, you know, I gave my female perspective in my reaction video, and I want to know, like, what men are expecting. Are you expecting so much change, a little bit of change, a lot of change, or just the fact that she's just cooperative and even open to a conversation? So, my tried and true too.
We
Hello,
here.
good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
What's up, River?
What's up, Edward?
All white, all white, all white
Not
on.
all right when I'm feeling godly. I don't know the rest of the song, but I'm just gonna leave it right there.
That's the part that matter.
That's the
What's
part
up,
that matters.
Kashawn? I think you're on mute, bro.
Oh, we can't hear you. You gonna come back? Everybody. Uh-oh.
Okay, so he's figuring it out, I
He's gonna
think.
fix it. He's gonna fix it. We know he will.
For sure, for sure. So
Yes.
while he's working on it,
Yes.
basically, so before the call, before we got
Hey, can
on,
you hear me now?
oh, there you go, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Go
you
ahead,
good,
man.
you good.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Uh-oh, I think you're glitching.
Yeah, it took me off for whatever reason. I could hear y'all, but I couldn't see y'all for a second.
Can you see us now?
Yeah, I can see y'all now.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
What's
Edward.
up?
Edward, go
What's
ahead.
happening, y'all?
Um, so I don't know. I'm gonna jump it off like this and say my piece. Did you see the video of the woman, the teacher from Alabama who got caught on the Zoom call?
No.
Okay. So basically,
Yeah, I saw that.
right. So basically she was on a Zoom call and she got caught doing the do, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And she was basically, just imagine a dead fish
Oh,
or
okay.
frog,
Okay.
or maybe even worse than that. Just imagine a kitchen napkin. That's how much
Okay.
excitement that she had.
I
Um,
see where you're going with this.
so what I wrote before we started was,
Mhm.
you change, and I might say this again later. You change when the relationship is more important than the behavior.
Mm.
So that's when you change. So, but to answer your question quickly, I would love a lot of change, and I
A
would want to
lot of
change
change.
too. I would, just because you're learning people, and I think that a lot of times it would help if we discussed why we want that person to change, because maybe they don't understand why they want you to dress this way or act this way. And I think
Right.
that might help. But also, and my last thing, change for the right person. I think a lot of times we
Mm.
change for the wrong person and then say, okay, I'm not changing for anybody anymore. But we got to change for the right person, and the right person is willing to change for you. That's how you know they're the right person.
I think that's a really good aspect. And you're taking us down to a whole different part of the conversation now. When you talk about the starfish and the, because those are still other aspects of change as well that are required, are very, very, very much required. Kashan, what do you think about this?
Well, with time, change comes anyway. So
True.
as time goes, as the relationship, as time goes in the relationship, you should be changing. There should be no
Mhm.
reason that you're not changing unless you don't want to. But when you find that certain person, they make you want to change. So
That's true.
change, change is necessary, and change comes with time. Should come with time, I should say,
It
because
should come with time.
not everybody changes,
That's
and it
true.
don't matter. It don't matter who's telling them. They could have their spouse telling them. They could have their kids telling them. They can have everybody in their extended family telling them, and they just like, nah, I ain't got to change for nobody. No. and
Right. And
in the
that's
Mm-mm.
so
moment,
true. You said something really, really key as well. The fact that you said that change comes anyway. And it's true. Like when you get to different spaces of time after a while, like naturally things are always going to change, and I always talk about that representative in the relationship, the person who is trying to get the ring or the person who's trying to get you to wipe them up, get in a relationship with you. They're always going to put their best foot forward. So
absolutely.
after a while, that kind of person kind of maybe subsides a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So change does come anyway. But it's true, like especially with women. Women, as women, we love to talk. Love to talk. I think women, we have you guys beat when it comes to talking, right? You get
Oh
some
yeah.
women in the space, it's over. Okay, we talking about everything. Don't have to know each other, don't have to know nothing. We're gonna talk, right? And
Mm-hmm.
in that aspect, um, women love to say things that they would not do for a man, but it's because they didn't encounter the right man. Because, as you just said, Kashan, when you encounter that man, okay, there is no, I'm not gonna, it's happening. Like, it's happening. This man is requiring you to be the best version of yourself. He's not, you know, um, receiving anything less than your best all the time. So you are going to change. Okay. Or you're going to be resistant and you're not going to be with that person. Maybe you be with somebody who doesn't require you to change. But then is that really the best person for you? If they act like everything that you're doing is so perfect and so okay.
Not
No.
necessarily.
Right.
Mm-mm.
Right. You see, hello, Demetrius. This is my first time ever seeing this caller, so I do
How you
salute
doing?
again everybody in the back. Stay with me.
Salute.
I promise I'm coming to y'all. I promise. Briefly, I just want to give everybody their chance to speak their piece, solely, and then I'm going to bring up everybody so we can all have the discussion. And ladies, don't be afraid to call in. Okay, I saw one of my little
Come up.
and then pass out. Don't be afraid. I got you back. Okay. So Demetrius, thank you so much for joining
How
tonight.
you doing? All right. Can you hear me?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. All right. Yeah, so I'm gonna just get right to it. I definitely think that we should always consider change.
Mm-hmm.
I know for men, we can tend to have that routine. Like the brother had mentioned about that the teacher basically having sex on in front of the students, and it was real dull. Because a lot of times, men, we become routine. So I think change is important, and I think that you should even ask your person, "What would you like for me to do to change?" I'm not nothing drastic. It could be just cologne. It could be a hairstyle, perfume. It could
Right.
be a certain color you want me to see. I mean, these are generic things, but I just overall, I think change is important, especially as you get older. Because for somebody like me, I'm 43, so if I'm dating, right,
Mm-hmm.
I have to consider change more so than anything because obviously I'm not married or anything like that. So things have not been working. So I have to go in
Mm,
considering doing changing something.
right.
So that's what I would say. And even if you're younger, but if you're constantly being in relationships and they have not been working, you have to consider you're doing something wrong and to even ask that person you was dating before what you was doing wrong, and definitely ask the person that you are starting to date, what some things that they like, what some things they may see that they're not really feeling already, and get that conversation on the table in the beginning so it's not hard to have as time go on. Because a lot of times when time goes on and you let things slide, it's hard to say something once 3 months, 5 months, a year done went by. So I'm all for change.
I love that. Brittany B, I love this comment. It says, yes, you should be open for change, but be sure to know who you are. And I think that's a really hard aspect as well. Brittany B, I'm open. Please call. Come on and
What up,
call.
Brittany B?
Feminine energy up in here. But I think
Hello,
that's a hard aspect because I think a lot of people don't know who they are. you know? And I think sometimes being with the right person kind of reveals who you are to you. But I want to go to what Demetrius said. Okay. Demetrius said something that's so key that I knew earlier when I did my reaction video this morning. It's so funny because I feel like men are so accepting of like making sure their spouse is good, right? Like a man will be like, you know, she's like, I don't like that cologne. He's, oh, you don't? You'll never see it bought again. Right? Like he just won't buy it again because you said you don't like it. You know, if a man is like, oh, you know, uh, hey, or if you cook something, right? Demetrius, you cook something, and I'm like, you know, didn't really like that. You won't cook it again, right? But with a woman, because we're so overly emotional, overly in our feelings, overly replacing reality of what's really going on with how we feel at the moment, or maybe our hormones or whatever the case is, we're always like, well, what you mean you don't like the way that tasted? What you mean you don't like how this smells? You know how much this cost me? Well, buy me another one. Like so ready to argue. And like even Demetrius is saying like, hey, wait, I'm in my 40s, okay? At this point, like I'm not married. Maybe it's me. Like ready to self-reflect on maybe it's me not bending, maybe it's me being too strict. Let's have this conversation with a woman who's in her 40s who's not married and see if that's what she starts the conversation off saying. Okay? Because it's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be maybe at the bend. Okay, it's gonna be they all wasn't this, they all wasn't that, you know. But I think that this is so mind-boggling, the differences between men and women. You know what I mean? So I really, really love what Demetrius had to say about that situation as well. So I'm going to add in. Look, you see, Rivah's trying to be more organized. Okay, today I'm trying to be more organized. Okay, because we've been on here for 5 hours. Thank you so much, Chapter 9 Music. Thank you. So let me go ahead and add. Let's see. First person waiting. Okay, so I'm gonna add Scam Likely.
Dr. Penn.
How are you?
What's going on?
Dr. Wiggins.
Hey, what's happening, brother?
Yeah, exactly.
Rivah doesn't like none of my names, so I had to change it. So I changed it to Tacaño.
Yeah, Tacaño.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tacaño.
Sí, yo soy un tacaño, is la verdad, sí. But
Is
also,
what?
huh?
Would you say? I'm sorry.
Oh, un tacaño, sí, es la verdad. Yo soy un tacaño, grande, sí.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But I had to
What do
change
you
it
think
first.
about this
Oh, go ahead.
conversation? Mm-hmm.
I heard like Lapeef talking about changing the male image on YouTube, so I had to change my shirt. I had a wife beater on. I
Oh.
had to change my name because Rivah doesn't like it, so she don't like none of my names.
So you're saying you're willing to change?
Yeah, I get
That's
it.
what he said.
But we're supposed to be improving out here.
Mm-hmm.
If we ain't changing, let's just say somehow I went and found this woman and she said, I'm gonna stay the way I am. And then I said, I'm gonna stay how I am.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have kids. What we gonna teach them? Just do anything? Oh, I got D's in class. Yeah, but it's cool. Just stay the way you are.
Right.
Oh, I was cutting up and doing backflips in the back of the class, but oh, it's cool. Just stay the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
At 17, I could actually go in the military or go be productive. No, you good. The fairy's gonna come save you. Just stay the way you are.
Yeah, just lay on the couch.
Yeah, you good. We got this. The fairy's gonna come save you.
Right.
We're gonna teach the kids.
Right.
And they teaching them this stuff. And the kids actually believing that the fairy's coming. And they still just gonna be millionaires from playing video games and sit.
It's true. I like that you said that as well, because that's very, very true. I mean, change it, because Sean said it earlier, change won't come anyway. Change is something everybody has to be accepting of change. You can be resistant if you want to. It doesn't mean that change is not going to come. You can be resistant, apprehensive, not like change, whatever, but it's always bound to come, especially in long-term relationships, and especially with children. Like, especially with children. That's what you really find out what you're made of when you have some kids around. They show you who you really are. So I definitely agree with that aspect as well. Hello, LaSalle.
How you doing? You hear me?
Yes.
All right. I think I misunderstood the topic because when they're talking about change, they're talking about more or less like lifestyle changes. I look at it more or less like consideration. Like, don't do that because it negatively affects me. I don't even look at it like, oh, this is terrible for us. This is terrible for your betterment. It's like, yo, you're just doing something that is just not conducive to me. And I think that comes to with living your whole life about you and only being about you. And I think as men, especially black men, we're not afforded that just the way that we was raised. We was always raised to think about mom. You know what I'm saying? Even when you see the sports, every time somebody wins something, oh, I'm gonna get drafted. I'm gonna get my mom a house. It's the first thing that they get. Not nothing for them. They get something for their mom. But it's just about consideration from my perspective. So as far as should somebody change, yeah, because I'm here now. I mean, if you want to do it your way, then I don't need to
By
be here.
yourself.
You can be by yourself. Like I was having a conversation with my man's, and he was talking about his girlfriend. He was saying, she's just herself around me, and I'm just myself around her. And I'm like, that's literally impossible. It's like, no, it's not. And I wasn't trying to be a Debbie Downer. It's just more or less the fact that there's another human being. You have to be considerate automatically. If I'm by
Right.
myself, I can fart, burp, do whatever. But I'm just saying, if there's somebody else, I have to be considerate of what they would
Right.
think. Like, I can't just move the way that I move by myself with another person. So should you change in that aspect of being considerate of the person you're dating? Of course. Now you want to have deeper conversations as far as like change lifestyles. I don't know. Maybe you should vet more on the front end to see if that even matches up. Like, I'm not going to go to Magic City and expect her to change it to something else that she's not. So I don't know which way that would go, but I just think that people should be considerate of another person.
No, that's perfect because we do want to hit every aspect of of that change, and you touched on something that is very true. You're not going to go, you're not going to walk, like you said, into Magic City and be like, hey, come be a housewife. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's going to require a lot of, doesn't mean it's impossible, does not mean it's impossible, but that's going to require a lot of work for a change she may not be ready for. Because if you have a woman that's ready for that and you're that guy for her, that's it. Cold turkey, she might be the best housewife living. You know what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying. Like, to go as far as to asking somebody to change like drastically certain things. Maybe there was something a little left off in the vetting process. Maybe certain conversations weren't had. Maybe certain things weren't revealed for you to have come that far. I agree with that.
Well,
Um,
even with what you said, that's
mhm.
still dependent on her wanting to do that. It's not just
You
something that
think
just comes
so?
out of the blue. Like, she wants to do this. I'm just the conduit to push her off the ledge. She already wanted to jump. If that's that, and I kind of like when it comes to
Mm,
change, that's how I feel when it comes to relationships. I don't think any man in the history of man or anybody on this panel has any issue with conforming, compromising, meet halfway.
no.
We don't have those issues. It's just about what is the incentive. Like, me as a man, I'm making you like me. I'm leading with something. I'm making you interested in me, whether it's charm, whether it's the way I look, whether it's the way I treat you on a date. I'm doing something to incentivize you to operate a certain way. You can't just demand me to move a certain way without like making me want to do it. Like me, I don't believe in doing anything I don't want to do. That does not mean that I won't do other things. It's just that you got to make me want to do it. Like, you just don't tell your, I mean, terrible analogy, but you're dealing with children. Hey, you need to pick your grades up. If you get an A, we're taking you to Chuck E. Cheese's. Like, there's certain incentivization that comes with it, with anybody, children, dogs, anybody. You just can't demand a change out of somebody and there's no reward on the back end. It's like they say men are dogs, but they never treat us like dogs. We don't get pet, we don't get no bones, we don't get a damn thing. We just get damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I think when it comes to the change thing, it should be it's not that men don't want to change, it's just that what do we get for that change other than inflating your female ego?
No, but I know that's right because the dog be all up in the bed, licking the face, all doing all type of stuff that man can't do. So that's 100%. That's 100% valid. But one thing that I do want to disagree with though is that you said that you think that the change is just because it's something that she maybe wanted to do anyway. I don't know if that's not always true. That's not always true because maybe she was just doing her thing, Magic City, being the hottie with the body, okay, doing what she do, making her coins, didn't even think that maybe it would have ever happened for her, or, you know, and just a certain guy that is connected to her in a certain way just appears. Now she's having all these new emotions, and he's like, quit dancing. And just because she's trusting that connection so much, I'm going to do that. You know what I'm saying? Not that because it was premeditated, not because it was something I was even thinking of doing, but because women change definitely for that man. Like, a man can make a woman change, whether she was thinking of changing or not. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I blocked Demetrius.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I can't hear anybody else talk. Is that that's how it's supposed to be?
No.
Okay, because I couldn't hear anybody else.
You couldn't hear anybody?
No. Maybe it was just me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Can you hear Edward? Can you hear
Check.
I can hear Edward, yeah.
but you couldn't hear LaSalle?
No, I couldn't. No.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I can hear him now though.
Oh.
All right, cool.
Yeah, maybe it was something on my end. I'm not
Okay.
sure. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
It's cool. It's cool. But what I wanted to say was
Mhm.
about women motivating the change.
Mhm.
I wanted to say that because most women or the average woman doesn't pursue, is not pursuing men, they don't really feel the need to change because we're the ones pursuing you. So obviously we already accepted what we saw for the most part. But because men are, but because because they're not pursuing us, but the times that they do pursue us, they're a little bit more cooperative and want to do whatever we want or say to please us.
True.
So I think that's the dynamics of a lot of the change, because men are doing most of the pursuing. So women feel like, well, you met me on the strip pole, so why you want to pull me down for? Or you met me here, so why you want to change me now? So that's where I think a lot of the resistance when it comes to getting sisters to change is because most of the time they're not doing the pursuing.
That's a really good point. That's a really good point, because it is gonna take, again, she over there dancing, doing what she do, okay, and then somebody comes in, and it is a somewhat of a something that she's gonna see to be like, who's that? It is that thing that will make her be like, okay, or I trust what he's saying. Whether and you have different aspects of that. You have different aspects of women wanting to change for you, whether it's they see the car you drive, they see how much money you have, or they just understand your leadership skills. They just see your ability to make certain decisions. Whatever the case is, they have a good connection with you, friendship with you, whatever it may be. But it will still be based off of that man and who he is, and also what he requires to be around him. Like, if that man is like, I'm no nonsense, I don't require any less than this, she will level up for that.
Another thing too, with a sister that's stripping or in a situation, I'm saying this loosely, but in a dire situation like that, I don't want to say like stripping is the end of the world, but I'm just saying a woman that's in a situation where she's willing to change, she wants to be quote unquote saved. She may be a little bit willing to cooperate as well, because a lot of sisters are doing well in life for making money, education, and things of that sort. I live in the DC area, so a lot of people got education, work for the federal government, making good money. So that equates to I'm perfect. So what do I need to change? But if you meet a sister in a strip club, she might be like, you know what, I want to get off this pole anyway. This brother, he is kind of talking about a little something. I've been doing this for a couple of years. You know what? Let me see what he talking about. But if you got somebody that's doing, well, or things like that, and you say, hey, look, you need to stop doing it. I don't think you need to. It's like, who are you talking? You ain't that. I'm making this much. I got this. Who is you telling me to change? So it's a lot of little variables, and you have to know as a man what you're dealing with when you talking to a woman. You just got to go from there with it.
To add to that, everything he said, I agree with. Only thing I would add to it is just that there are some women out here that are doing amazing, but I think that there's a lot of women that have the perception of doing well because that feeds other people's pockets. You got a lot of women that talk about they make a lot of money. That's great. You can't keep none of it. you spend it frivolously, have crazy amount of debt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, there are some amazing women out here doing what they're doing, but then there's also that perception of, what's the word? It's like projection. It's more or less because I would do it, I would assume that you would do it. And there's a lot of women that move a certain way where it's like, if I told you to do something, that's a visceral reaction to me in my soul. Like, I really can't stand it. Like, I'm gonna tell you to stop because it's really pissing me off. Meanwhile, a man might just mention like, you know, I don't really like that hairstyle or whatever. It's not really affecting us that crazy. But because they might use it as an ammo, they might assume us to use it as an ammo. Now they're being defensive. You know what I mean? It's a lot of, oh, I would do that, so now I would assume them to do that. So it can go in different pockets, even when it comes to like being flirtatious or being around women in certain dynamics. It's like, oh, well, if I was talking, I would do this. It's like, but I'm not you. Like, I'm a man. I operate completely independently of how you move. So it's like, when it comes to the change thing, I think a lot of times, from what I've seen from my personal experience, is that when they want change, it's usually for the benefit of them. When we want change, it's for the benefit of both of us. And because they're not leading with that, I think they don't see that we're even capable of doing that. I don't think they think that we're thinking of both parties. I think because they're thinking of themselves, they think that we're thinking of ourselves.
So you think, okay, so, I mean, listen, I say this all the time. I mean, women definitely think that men don't have a brain. Okay, they definitely think that. They're like, oh, men are so dumb, men are stupid, men are this, men are that, and like in actuality, like, they just don't complain every day. Like, they're just not going to complain the same way. They're not going to nag. They're not going to cry. They're not going to, maybe over express themselves. But if they say this is how they feel, this is how they feel. So that was a really good aspect when you say that they don't even fathom that the change could be for a bigger reason, because that's not what they would deem important to themselves, because they wouldn't be thinking that as well. That's a very, very valid point. And I do think, just for an example, I do think that certain change is necessary for the relationship, even something as quote unquote small as a hairstyle. I see, again, I was a hairstylist still am a hairstylist for so long. And so many women, will tell other women in the hair, oh, you can cut your hair. That's your hair. Who is he to tell you how to wear your hair? Who is he to tell you, how to do that style? And it's like, but he the one who's he got to like it. But he has to like it, because if he doesn't like it, okay, and he is not looking at you in the space of like, oh, that's my girl and she look good. He gonna be looking at somebody else like, oh, she looks good. Now that's putting you in a space that you're not the apple of his eye anymore. Okay, because when he met you, that's not the change we talking about. Okay, that's not the change we talking about. Because when he met you, you didn't look like that. And now you just all of a sudden drastically want to be somebody else, and he didn't ask for you to be anybody else. Or maybe she's natural, you love her natural hair, you got with her and she's natural, and now she wearing wigs and have like long, acrylic nails, and you're like, that's not what I signed up for. But she's like, oh nah, but I just want to be like a hot girl. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, but that's not what I signed up for. As small and minute as those changes may seem, they're actually really, really big changes. Because once that man, or your spouse or whatever is looking at you in a certain light, he's going to start to categorize you. And I'm talking to the men, okay? I'm just talking from a female's perspective to the men, because I listen, okay? I definitely listen. He's going to start to categorize you based on the women that he's already dealt with before. So when he see you coming with the wig and the nails, he's like, oh yeah, I already know what's coming next. Like, I already know what you're about to say next. I already know the vibe that you're about to come with. So you're not just changing your hairstyle. As much as women are like, it's just hair. Men are so wise enough to know it's not just hair. That hair is attached to a certain behavior. So once you have that hair on, I can't talk to you. Okay? All of a sudden, I can't talk to you. I can't tell you nothing. You can't hear me because you got to do this 50 times. Like, all of a sudden you have the nails on and everything is very accentuated. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to tell me about myself. I understand that. So I love that point that you brought up, LaSalle, in respect to the mindset of men, because I feel like a lot of women don't understand that aspect. A lot of men just think that men just see just the silly stuff or like the playful stuff and don't realize how deep men look into things. So I really like that you brought that up. Z, Eugene, and then Zeus, of course. So Z, I saw you waiting for a long time. What do you think about this conversation?
Yeah, I think that change is necessary. I don't think that people should outright ask at least in the intimate relationship. I don't think that people should outright ask somebody to change, but you should let them know that they making you feel, uncomfortable, or they hitting a boundary, or that you just don't like this. And
Mm,
if the person really respects you enough or wants you to be around enough, what I'm saying, they'll compromise, or they'll at least put some effort into it. You know what I mean? Like
right.
sometimes it'll be like something minuscule, you know, and and like you'll let somebody know, yeah, that's something that I don't really like. But if you keep doing it and keep doing it, keep doing it, something small could just end the relationship. Like, I'm not finna put up with this. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that because if you tell somebody, like, for one, if you tell somebody, I think if you tell somebody straight up ask them to do it, I think it's gonna backfire every time. Because either one, they just gonna leave you. Two, they gonna try to conform, and probably end up with some resentment towards you because they really didn't want to change. You know what I'm saying? Or like three, they just, you guys just won't be compatible. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think about it.
So okay, so you think that the approach for the change should be something that's pretty subtle.
hmm
It
I think
shouldn't
that.
be.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that I just think that if you ask outright, like, it's a game. People hate to say this, especially females. They hate when you say this, but it's a game. The relationship, it's a game, and that's like breaking the rules right there. Yeah, in my opinion, that's like one of those rules that you just can't break. It's like the third wall. Like, like if somebody makes you mad in a relationship, you don't want to just blow up. Like, how many fucking times I got to tell you? You don't want to do that, right?
Right, 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 right,
So even though even though that may be how you feel like reacting, what I'm saying, you just can't do it because it's a game. You don't want to throw somebody off, so you just had to, you gotta tell them, like, hey, look, and it's better that way anyway. It's just better to say
But
things
how?
cordially.
But how is it that men are so? I find this very interesting because I talk to like my boy cousins. I call them my brothers because we all grew up together, right? And I'll like
Mhm.
talk to different men about certain situations, and it's just so funny to me that like men who know, right? Men who know in our experience with the nature of women in general, they're always on point. Like they're always on their square. Like he's literally saying, he's like, oh, that's like, I don't want to say this and make it seem like that. You know what I'm saying? So I have to just kind of approach it in a certain manner. And I feel like that's one of the biggest difference from men and women.
You're right.
Because
I didn't even think of it like that, did you? But you're right. Like, it's I guess you would be just more like consideration, right? Because that's what it is.
right.
I mean, you got to think about, like, not only what you want, but after you get it, what's going to be the consequence or the effects. I don't know why people think consequence is always negative, but like, you after you get what you want, what's going to be the byproduct of that? You know what I mean? Like, people pray for stuff, and then when they get it, they wish they didn't have it.
Hmm. It's true. No, that is really true. When they get it, they wish they didn't have it. Oh my God. That's a whole different that's a whole different aspect, but that's very, very, very true. That's a very, very true. Um, and I think that the reason being, again, I said it a million times already, but emotions, like the feelings, women can just act out, and then they come back and be like, oh, well, I just did that because I felt like this, and the man's like, okay, like maybe
Yeah.
one, two times because he's not used to you acting like that. He's like, okay, I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. Come here, let me deal with this.
You
And then
know,
she'll do it
like
again, and it's like, okay,
you
whereas
know,
a man is like always mentally thinking about like, if I react like this, she's gonna react like this. Let me just think this whole thing through.
yeah, I always think right, like whenever I talk to people who haven't like I'm around 30, right? So like a bunch of my
Hmm.
friends, they like getting into serious relationships. So
Hmm.
they always be talking to me about what's going on and stuff. And I always be thinking to myself, like, I usually try to tell somebody a couple times, but then I just stop because I don't want to keep saying the same thing to somebody over and over again. So I usually always say, like, you know, this is probably the lightest that it's going to be. Like as time goes on, it's going to become more and more and more of a problem. A lot of women don't really be that bad off at first, but then you just allow them because most people just allow. It's just like a kid, in any situation, or a dog or whatever. Not comparing women to kids or dogs. People, just people. If you
Right.
let them do whatever they want to do, they're going to keep doing it. And even though you don't want them to do it, you know what I mean? Like, they don't play on my table. You scratching on my table, but you only say it once. You never give them no corrective action. Guess what they're gonna be doing? They're gonna be playing your table every chance they get. Your table gonna be scratched up, then you'll be pissed. So I just think that people usually ruin their relationships. Not really that. Well, obviously, a lot of people don't choose correctly. But I think that when you get in a relationship with somebody you actually like, you have to change. So you just listen. Just listen for the obviously they like you enough to be laying with you and stuff like that. So just listen and look for the things that to because most of the time is to improve you as well, on both
Yeah.
sides, women and men.
LaSalle said that as well. Yeah.
I can say one thing and I'll get up out of here.
Yeah, I'm about to leave too, man. I enjoyed y'all though. I kind of gotta
I
go.
know. And I'm not staying on like late tonight either. So I appreciate it. But
I
yeah,
just want to add to what he said.
go ahead.
So he was basically stating the consideration that men usually have, and it's because we're bred by this by nature, especially with society. We're responsible for everything, even stuff that's not even our fault. We're responsible, so we understand that there is going to be a consequence, whether it's positive or negative. We understand that something's going to happen, and usually we got an answer to it. Now it was about 8, 9 men up here. Everybody has been it because I've been doing it, looking at who doing something with their face, about to say something, and we shut ourselves up and let the other person speak.
Consideration.
If there was 2 women in here, would
I
be doing that? And
don't
I'm not
know.
in
I
the
don't know. Not the women on River Channel though.
I'm just saying I'm not in a position where nobody can punch me in my face if I cut somebody off. But it's just a
Yeah.
consideration that we have because we understand that there's a consequence that comes from it. And it's just simple. Men, society, we understand. Like there's a difference. You just said something a lot of they're in their feelings, they wild out, they come back. Oh, I just was out of pocket. If I'm at a club and a woman gets upset, wants to throw a drink in my face, she can do that. She doesn't have to think about anything. She don't have to think if my girlfriend is next to me and she's Samoan and body slammer. She ain't got to think about none of that. Me,
That's a
if I
moment.
accidentally step on a man's Jordans, the aglet piece of the shoelace, I can die. Like
Right.
literally, I can die that
Literally.
night. Like we have to think about so much stuff. So when we have this conversation of change and consideration, we have to be considerate because that's literally how we breathe. If we're not considerate, we're out of here. Literally.
That's so true. And that goes really far. I mean, but I think just knowing that your man has to go through that on a daily basis in real life and the struggles that he faces. What is it to you? Okay, hold on. Again, this let me give you a little backstory really, really quickly. Okay. This started because the lady was trying to talk about Kanye and Kim. And they were saying, like, oh, that relationship been red flags because he been telling her what to wear. And it's like, no. Okay, first of all, whatever's going on right now that we see on social media, I don't believe nothing. I don't believe nothing unless somebody call me on my phone, Kim or Kanye, and be like, yo, River, let me tell you what's really good. I'll be like, okay, cool. I don't believe nothing because I know how media works. Okay, they can be, his documentary is out, which is amazing, by the way. If you haven't checked out his documentary, if you're a Kanye fan or if you like his music or if you're just interested in a really good documentary, I would watch it. But I'm just using that to say, there's different ploys that people do for marketing. Okay, so I don't watch anything that goes on. But I found it very interesting, like when it comes to clothing, that somebody would use that as a source of control. When it comes to, again, hairstyle, somebody could use that as a source of control. But for the sake of a relationship, as you just stated, right? When I wild out, I'm going to use myself for an example. I would not do that. But if I were to wild out in the club, like you said, I don't have any consequence. So is it that women are resistant to change because of their lack of consequences? Because they can like get it wrong and then just get it right whenever they feel like it, because there's always going to be someone there to understand them because they are a woman? And is it different because with men, one thing, it's immediate consequences for even the smallest thing that you do? Do you think that might play a really big role in the reason why women are so resistant to change, because somebody will always be there to like carry them?
It's a package of things.
I would say yes. It's always a landing pad for sisters.
Yeah.
And I work at a shelter for kids, right? And I see it there. It starts young, especially the kids that are wards of the state. They know that they can just run amok, and because they're ward of the state, it's certain they could do so much and things won't happen to them, right? So just fast forward, even as women as adults, it's gonna always be a landing pad. If you have children, if you, all types of what you call it. I can't think of the word right now, but when you get jobs and you got to have women there, I can't think of the term right now, but affirmative action. So it's just all kinds of things, which are good things to have in place, but it definitely, to what the brother was saying, it's no consequences, for your action. When the two little girls in DC had carjacked the guy, he got killed or whatever, they didn't get real consequences.
Right.
They got juvenile life. That was pretty much it. But that thing was real quiet. It got swept under the rug because of their ages. And a lot of it had to do with them being young women. Because of those boys, they probably would have certified them as adults. And they would have went to the adult jail, probably once they got 16 anyway, because these girls were real young. So it starts early. And then, as they get older, again, like the brother just gave the example of being in the club, being able to throw a drink in a man's face, and the man is going to get looked at. And we can go on and on with that.
Yeah, we can.
Another point too, is that it was something that you said about your cousins and how y'all have conversations and things like that, and how, I guess, kind of how they are knowledgeable about women. And the thing, that's what I took from it anyway. The thing is that men study women, and I don't think that women study.
Hold up now.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold up now.
And what's up? I'm listening.
That is a whole conversation.
It is.
Okay, we're just gonna pause.
Okay.
We're just gonna sit right there for a second.
Okay.
Do you agree or disagree, though?
That is the secret ingredient. People, oh, Rivah, if we could clone you, oh, Rivah, you just understand. It's that Rivah is very observant and analytical and pays attention. A lot of women do not pay attention to the person who they are literally giving their body to. They don't pay that person any mind. They pay attention to the phone, okay, to the homegirls, to the dog, like somebody said earlier,
to the weird,
going out to lunch, or to brunch, excuse me. But they don't look at this man in his face and really understand who he is, what type of person he is, what his character is like, especially right now in the time of just buying a bag. It's been so implanted in our brains that you're the prize as a woman. You're the one with the treasure, okay, with the treasure box. He got to get the treasure. So you're the one that's in control. Happy wife, happy life. I can think of a million. Just pick a Tyler Perry movie, okay, and it's gonna tell you that women, are the greatest thing and man comes after, but
Only,
it does not teach women to study and listen to and observe your
absolutely. Only if now the celebrity or the high profile type of men, whether they're celebrities or businessmen, because they have what they have, women will study them. But just the regular guy, the way that men will study just a regular girl, I mean, men will know, like, yeah, we'll live in the building and be like, yeah, she got a boyfriend. Dude that tried the little black Honda Accord, yeah, that's her dude right there. Yeah. We'll know little stuff like that, about women that's around us. But women kind of won't even really, they won't really know that unless it's a dude that they really, really are watching. But men instinctively, if we see women moving about, we see things in general moving about around us, we'll know. I just get this quick story. When I lived in a high rise and I lived by the door and I had a balcony, and the women that I found attractive that I liked, I knew how their heels sound when they would be walking, and I'd be like, that's old girl. And I would go to the balcony and I would look, I'd be like, that's her. And it was a couple women, because my balcony was right by the door where everybody came in, that I knew how people even walked. You know what I mean?
Right.
I know that's a little stalkerish, but I'm just saying how observant men are, because we actually study women. It's for a lot of different reasons. Like you said, that's a long, we go deep into that. But yeah, we definitely, and it doesn't matter, whether we like you or we just know, you're a woman, you around, we kind of peep game like that.
Yes, you do. And I feel like that's a general all man thing. Like, they just know, they're very observant to the women that are around them. And I want to make a slight point, and then I want to get to Mr. Eugene. I want to make a very, very quick point. That's so true to the fact that, like, when people say, like, oh, a man can't teach a woman how to be a woman, and that's why I always say that's extremely untrue, because based off of that man's experiences, especially if he might be older than that woman, based off of the women that he's encountered, he knows what it is. He knows certain characteristics, certain things that are required for her to be in her full womanhood and not be childlike. So that's why I always disagree with that. Mr. Eugene, thank you so much for being so patient.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course.
Yeah. I want to say this. When you get into any relationship, well, there's always going to be changes.
Yeah.
Always going to be changes. But now let's talk about when you're pursuing a relationship or getting into a relationship. Before you get into a relationship, you have to ask yourself, how much of yourself are you willing to change? How much of your comfort zone are you willing to step out of?
Mm-hmm.
Are you give up any of your principles for that person? Because remember, you're going to be sharing your life with that person. This is where heavy courting comes into play, and knowing the person so that you could see if are the changes, are you willing to make these changes? Would you be comfortable making some of the changes, or what have you? And also the partner that you're going with, if she has to make changes, she has to really want to make these changes. I am not that person who would make somebody do what they don't want to do. I don't believe in that.
Right.
Okay? She's got to be willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
When I go into these dating sites, yeah, I would look at their pictures and see how pretty they are and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But the next thing I look at are their profiles. What do they like? And then you have to ask yourself, well, do you like the same things that she likes? If you do, you have to ask yourself, what adjustments are you willing to make?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like too much for you, forget it. Okay, just move on to the next pick. So yes, there will always be changes, but the question is, how much are you willing to make a change?
I completely agree with that. And I like that you said that a lot of change. Well, there's two sides to this coin. A lot of change, okay, would be um, avoided. The conversation or the stress of the fact that the person has to change would be avoided if you had, like you're saying, certain conversations in the beginning to know who this person really is.
Mhm.
I always like to say, people say like opposites attract. Maybe in the regards of the masculine energy and the feminine woman, but when you're in a relationship with somebody for the long haul, a lot of your core values have got to be the same. Okay, that's not when opposites attract. Okay, it's not opposites attract when you're strong. You stand really strong on this belief, and this person stands really strong on this belief, and they're two belief systems that are completely different. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, maybe in certain things, one person might be assertive, one person might be a little bit laid back, one person might talk a lot, one person might be more quiet or reserved. That's like a battery. But when we talk about like the core values, that person has to be very, very similar to you. Very
Right.
similar. Like maybe raised the same, if not raised the same, has the same mentality, because that is what's going to, again, like somebody said earlier, help you raise your children together. You know what I'm saying? So that is very, very true.
What,
Go ahead.
yeah, right. And it comes down to some people who have these unexpected, well, should I say, unrealistic expectations. Uh, it seems like if you have an unrealistic expectations, you're like, oh, you want this money because you have the money. You, sometimes it seems like you don't care, uh, what you have to change about yourself. Sometimes it might be you're uncomfortable
Hmm.
doing the things that this person you want you to do,
Right.
and you know, and then after a while, you're going to run into problems. Attitudes are going to be made.
Yeah.
So you know, I try not to look at all those things. Just look at, well, who's comfortable for me, and am I comfortable for that person?
Right. Right. I exactly. Am I comfortable for that person as well? That's such a good aspect of the conversation. Also, it's so funny. Enzo, I think it's Enzo Macro. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. It says, I don't smoke nor drink nor eat pork. Women will hide their bad habits until they feel comfortable. Then her true character comes out. I was going to say this as well. When I said there's
Mhm.
two sides to the coin, I was going to say that sometimes it's unavoidable because you have these conversations, and again, that representative is like, oh no, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't eat pork, I don't do, and then like after she gets comfortable, or after a year in, or however long it takes for that representative to wear off, then it becomes, well, this is what I do and I always did this, or resentment comes in. I just stopped doing this because of you, but I really enjoy doing these things. And it's like, well, I didn't even know that. Do I even know who you are? So sometimes in certain aspects it is unavoidable. But one thing that you said, which was the first thing that you said, Mr. Eugene, was that if you're not willing, how are you willing to change? Are you willing to adapt? If you're not willing to adapt, I can go as far as to say marriage. Well, okay, I have to say there's two sides to a coin again because marriage, I would say that marriage is not for you, but some people are getting married and two people are think that they don't have to change each other, and they think that they're in um what in their mind would be a happy marriage, and in actuality it's just two people who just don't want to be alone, but there's no growth or evolution. Like true relationships evolve. It's two people who have a similar ambition, goal, that they're working towards, that grow together. So if there's no growth, I wouldn't even say that you're necessarily really even in a real relationship. That's just my take on it. People probably say I'm tripping, but I don't think I am. I just wanted to say that. um uncle uncle, you're up here. How you doing, uncle?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I had to clear some people out the way so you can come on up here.
I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping. I was just listening. To go on to the topic. Like yesterday, I was on this panel, right?
Hmm.
And they was talking about how Kevin Samuels and hold up,
Okay.
put me down.
I don't know what happened. We're just gonna wait for a second for Uncle.
Okay, come on, man.
Okay, I'm gonna bring him down. Zeus, you can come on up. I just brought Uncle down. I'm gonna bring him back up. It seemed like he might need a second. Zeus, what do you think about this conversation?
Hi. Can you hear me? I'm outside actually, so
I know. I saw the
sorry.
sunlight in the bottom. I was like,
Sorry.
ooh, different
Sorry.
scenery.
Yeah. I really cannot. I don't really like speaking on the women's point of view. I only
Okay.
speak on the men's point of view. I came to a completely different country, learned the language, and found a whole new life from changing something about myself.
Mm,
And it's the best time I've ever had in my life.
mm.
So you don't know what decision will trigger that. So I guess that's why I always go into things with, I guess, the intention of making it out to be the best that it can be. I don't carry any past trauma, or as much as I can, you know, as much as I
Right.
can. Past
Right.
trauma or things like that into the decisions I make. So I am like, I think most men would probably do the same, but people are just uncomfortable with it at first.
Mhm.
Like, it's basically where I stand on it. Like, yeah,
I
like
completely
yeah. Sorry.
I completely agree with that. You know, sometimes you don't know what it is that's going to require that change from you. You know, it might be a certain aspect. It might be a breakup, right? It might be, something that happens, but whatever it gets you out of your comfort zone. And I think that that's one of the biggest issues is that a lot of people don't want to change because it's uncomfortable, right? Or because it's unknown. But you said something that was so key. You said that you wouldn't even know if you didn't try, and you already have in your mindset like everything that's happening is to serve me in the best way possible. So you're not going into it with a negative connotation like, oh, I don't want to go over there and change and have to do this and have to do that because, and fill your mind with negative thoughts. You're looking at the glasses half empty. Like, the glasses half empty. This is a new experience. Maybe I can learn. Maybe I can grow from this. So in any situation, you're going to find growth because that's what's in your mind. That's what you're thinking of. If you're going into a situation not thinking of growth and thinking all negative, all you're going to experience is negative. So I definitely agree with what you just said.
And I don't really take the approach of trying to like change someone because I do lots of vetting before. So
Nothing at all? Not even not nothing at all.
if they don't speak another language, that's the only thing that I kind of like is like you gotta do something, you know. But like like we can't just have a one language conversation with me at least. Many people don't speak other languages, but
He said, if you're not trilingual like me, we're gonna have to work on that.
yeah, or you don't stay fit or things like that. Like
Okay, so that's
I
another
will
thing.
say it. I will say it. Like I don't want a fat girlfriend or a fat wife. Point blank. Period. That is it. Because I do not want those bad habits to trickle down if we to ever have children. Too bad. Nope. I
Are
can't
you
do it.
are you body shaming?
Yes.
Sir, are you body shaming?
Yes.
Yes.
Right
I live
on.
in Asia. I live in Asia. That whole Western stuff doesn't work here.
Cool. Keep it up.
I think it's true though. But I think it's true though, especially because I've said it before, the woman is the one who's in control of the health of her spouse and her children. So if she has really bad eating habits, if she, is not on it health wise, that's gonna trickle down, like you said, to every single body else, and that's gonna have a negative effect. And that's dangerous. That's definitely ain't dangerous.
Yeah. Like
Uncle.
Hey,
even as
River.
we speak, I'm working out right now. I'm exercising, so I don't want to be, I don't want to be that fat guy, So I gotta.
Mm,
Hey,
If
River.
I
Hey,
respect myself, you
Go
better
ahead.
respect yourself, type of thing.
exactly. Because of your standard that you have for yourself.
Hey,
hello.
Yeah. So I don't think it's
hey,
changed. I
River.
think it's just improper vetting of your partner.
Mm, that's interesting.
But
That's
yeah,
interesting. Oh, thank you so much, Zeus. Thank you.
yeah. I'll mute myself and turn off my camera.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Uncle, you're back.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, somebody called me as soon as I told him I call him, I text them. But what I want to say is I had went on this channel and they basically was like Kevin Samuels and Dr. Umar or Coons, right?
Hmm.
I mean, like I said, so I'm like, no matter what I told the lady, I mean, because I'm a black nationalist,
Okay.
you
Oh yeah.
know. So
Yeah,
if
you said that.
yeah, so if they were coons, then I would know they was coons because I know the coon talking points.
Mm.
Um, so so, and I was just telling the lady, and then like I said, it always goes down to feelings. You dig what I'm saying? It was just outside of and deflection and all that type of stuff, but it wasn't hostile. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like I went into the went on the panel expecting a synthetic G situation,
Mhm.
and it wasn't. It wasn't. Maybe it's my suave persuasion. You know what I'm saying? It's like nah. But what I understand, what I realized that a lot of people are who are not willing to adjust. You use the word change, but I'm gonna use the word adjust to the circumstance. Are people who are not willing to be adults, or not willing to grow, and are not willing to be grown and they operate under cognitive dissonance and cumbersome behavior and a lot of different synonyms that relate to things as far as I think it spawns from an error in their growth and development. So
Mhm.
it's just like I believe that we need to really just like, and I also believe I don't think selfish people should be in relationships. So I believe I believe there should be something that we can like red flag, like a red flag system that we can develop in order to determine, oh, this person ain't ready for a relationship. Let me head on out.
Right.
Because you could be a person like a lot of men are not, being as though they were men, we are accustomed to adjusting to the circumstance versus just being stagnant on it. Like
Right.
if this ain't working, we are ingrained to try another way. You know what I mean? If this ain't, I mean, and a lot of times that like it was brought up that being as though a lot of females benefit from the madness
Mhm.
more than we do, they don't want to lose their power. So, but I don't believe all females are like that. So I
True.
believe a lot of us we spend so much time focusing on the ones that is not willing over just getting them out of the way and focus on those who are prepared to adjust to the circumstance. Because me, I have a different upbringing, so I know that there's certain things I have based on being in this space. There's
Mhm.
certain things that I thought were normal that I'm learned that wasn't normal because it was normal to me in my circumstance. Like,
Mhm.
it's just like if I tell you that I learned how to cook when I was age 4, you probably, oh my God, hey, who let you on the stove? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
you won't be able to conceive that if I tell people how I learned how to read. I learned how
Mhm.
to read by listening to music and having somebody print out the lyrics for me. And that's how I learned how to read until So what I'm trying to say to you is there's certain things that might be normal for other people, might not be normal for another person. So a lot of times that a lot of these females, they might think that them not being willing to grow and be grown or they might have a false delusion about what being grown is, so they might not want to adjust because they thinking because they over age 18, they grown and they can do what the hell they want. And that's why I say that a lot of them people, I guess I'm drawing it out, so I'm gonna
No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's funny because you're right about that. You know, everything that you said, and a lot of people in the chat too were like, "Yeah, Uncle's on it." You know, it's so true. As you said, like men are more ready to tackle the situation and make a change for a better outcome, right? Instead of just like you said, being stagnant and just staying around with the same situation. And one thing that I wanted to mention, just based off of what you just said, the last thing that you just said, was that the change that the person is requiring from you, right, is for the betterment of you, for the betterment of the relationship. Now, if you're talking about somebody who's requiring you to change, or like you said, Uncle, adjust, somebody that's requiring you to change or adjust, and they trying to get you to do stuff that's away from your morals, away from positivity, away from what you know to be good, that's a completely different story. That's a completely different story. But people who are genuinely, you know, just having certain requirements or asking you to change, like, babe, I don't want you to wear that. I don't like that you're wearing that when you're going out with your girls, because I'm not going with you. It doesn't make me feel comfortable, not because I'm insecure, because women are very quick to wave that flag of insecure. Oh, you insecure? Or you just mad because, no, it's because I'm worried about your safety because I'm not there and I'm concerned and it's late at night. Okay, not because you're not grown. Because like you said, Uncle, some people reach over 18 and they feel like they're grown, which some women can't even use the I'm grown because they're not grown.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's just be real. They're not even really grown. There's nothing that has changed since they was in high school. They're the same person.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of females only get food and a place to stay based on their children. So I mean, who's the parent?
Right. So it's not about you being, oh, I'm grown, you can't tell me what to wear. Like sometimes somebody needs to tell you, obviously, because they see you making a little crazy decision on your own, that you shouldn't be wearing that. Okay. And I'm asking you to change, and you should just respect me enough to, like you said, adjust.
Yeah, just like me. I have my dress code. I have a scruffy dress code. A work, like kind of, working man's dress code. So it's just like, I understand when people see me, they're gonna think I look like a working man. Or if you know, I mean, or you gonna think I'm a gangbanger. But one or the other. It's, but what I want to say is that a lot of females don't understand that certain outfits or certain, wardrobe, they call it wardrobe for a reason. Like, you go, like, certain things have occupations. So if you dressing like you dressing like you advertising, sex, then that's a dangerous situation. Even Miss Shahrazad Ali mentioned it. Like, you put your man's life in jeopardy every time you dress like a prostitute. She didn't say that, but you put, because if some of a man disrespects you, he got to defend you. So, like, why would you even bring that? And that's his duty. Why would you want him to prematurely risk his life over something unnecessary? Because I'm not gonna hold you. Like, me personally, I'm a reckless eyeballer. But if I see she got a dude with her, I'm gonna be respectful and not be no reckless eyeballer. Because I don't want it. Because I don't want no confrontation, not because I'm scared, it's because I want a confrontation because it's not necessary.
Right.
Just because I want to be, visual, just because I want to be disrespectful with my eyes. Right. And so it's not like so that's the situation where a lot of them don't understand that. They think it is a sense of insecurity. I mean, in essence, it is insecurity. If you dressing like you're advertising, a man ain't gonna be secure because you're advertising. You saying it's just like a help wanted sign. You got a help wanted sign on you, like
walking around like that.
Yeah, you walking around with a help wanted sign. So if you don't want to adjust that, like you telling other men that you still on the market, because There's
Oh, Uncle, that's a good point. That's a good point. I'm pausing you because that's a really good point. Because it goes even further than, like how you said you got the help wanted sign that you walking around with outside, but then you doing the same thing on social media. And he telling you, I don't want you
mm,
taking pictures like that in the bathing suit, turned around, cock
mm.
up, you know. I don't like the way that makes me feel. Oh, well, you insecure. No, but why? What are you advertising? Because you already have the man. So what are you advertising for?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So what you just
And,
said is very true. Very true.
yeah, and it's also a situation where, like me personally, I'm not a jealous person, so it'd be some type of stuff where, um, when you're not a jealous person and she's doing all these different antics and you don't get upset or get mad, and then as soon as they see somebody liking your post on Facebook, they
Okay.
want to make a big deal out of it, and then y'all have a conversation where, okay, I ain't gonna put this up because I know females like these type of posts. Then you adjust, and then they don't want to adjust. So
Right. Again.
it's so it's like they understand what's going on. So it's more so of a power play
Hmm.
than anything in a lot of cases. A lot of times it's a power play. But in that, and it goes to say to what we're talking about in reference to females that we want in our lives. I'm like, if we gotta compete with you for power, then like it's like messing with a man. Like why should we have to come home and compete with you or be in a relationship and compete with you? Like,
No,
like you are an enemy or something.
exactly. Exactly. You and then this is why I say, like, okay, I want to go into this one aspect of the, not adjusting, right? Somebody said it before. I think it was you, Edward, actually. Actually, it was you, Edward, when you were saying the thing about the starfish, the teacher who was doing the starfish, right? So I want to go into
Yeah.
this aspect of the conversation as well, based off of just what Uncle is saying. So, but I'm gonna kind of flip it. So, say for instance, you're a woman, right, and you get with a man who you knew was like had options. Okay, definitely, he could call Sarah on Saturday. He can call Tina on Sunday. He can call Alicia on Monday. He can call Michelle on Tuesday, right? And he gets into a committed relationship with you and everything's well. He dropped, everybody for you. He's committed to you. And then you turn around and say, I don't want to do nothing with you. Okay. I'm not in the mood. I have a headache. I'm tired. I'm this, I'm that. Okay.
Right.
So this aspect, again, you don't want to do nothing. This person changed from having it like this with a plethora of different people. Okay, so he's getting a plethora of different experiences at his fingertips to only being right there, eye to eye with you, being committed to you, not cheating on you. And you was, all about it in the beginning, and then you got comfortable, and now you're not about it no more. Now what's the problem? Now I have a headache. Now I'm tired. Now I don't feel like it. Now I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. So then, so who is required to bend? A lot of the times a woman will say that the man is supposed to bend. Oh, well, I'm tired and you just wanted too much or whatever, but you wanted fidelity from me. Okay, you wanted a monogamous relationship from me, and I changed for you. But
Right.
now you changed, and you're going to make me now revert and change and go back to the streets. Okay, because how are you in my access, literally right next to me, and I don't have access to you? What do you think about that, Edward? Because you're the one who brought it up. Okay, I just flipped it.
Oh wow. Okay.
I flipped it on you.
Am I talking as the woman? What, or you said, or you just giving me the scenario and I
Well,
can just
I'm giving you this scenario. You just
okay.
do with it what you may.
So what I was thinking, the relationship made the transition from passion to property. I own you. I
Mm,
do what I want to do with you. So I think it's like an ego thing. Um, I think this is a case of not communicating your expectations in the beginning and your deal breakers. So my
mm-hmm.
advice is this for people, and again, I don't know everything, but this is just from what my experience has been.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for example, my strategy is um, you have red light, yellow light, green light.
Mm-hmm.
Green light, I'm all for it. Yellow light, I'm not. Maybe, but I'll do it. Red light is this is a non-negotiable. If this happens, I'm out. So the
Mm-hmm.
point is to be able to discuss those beforehand. But this video, the video I was referencing was just pitiful. For people who were not here, I'm talking about the Alabama teacher who got caught on Zoom engaging in some morning fun, and the lady was I mean, that was just the most it was just like my glasses here. I mean, and this is clear, just no commit, just it's almost like it's a chore. It's like nobody wants to nobody wants that. So what do I make
Right.
of it? It's I think it's a case of non-clear communication. How do you remedy that? It's like a catch 22. It's like a stalemate, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
um, because you have this side who wants affection and love, and this side. So, in reference to the TikTok video that you were reacting to,
Yeah.
where the lady was like, he need to want. Well, I would say for the men, sometimes you got to suck it up and try that. I talked about on a past live stream that we did
Mm-hmm.
that you have to focus on what you can give. So you got to say, okay, so she's not in the mood. What can I do to get her in the mood? And sometimes you got to keep trying and keep trying and think of new things. And, you know, um, sometimes it's not going to work, but I feel like a lot of times one remedy can be the holistic health approach. There are natural herbs and things that can get you back into balance as far as a woman and a man goes. But I think that's important, as well as, and I was going to mention this earlier, a lot of times when we don't change or when we do change, it's because of other people. So women change for other women, and men sometimes change or don't change for other men. Like, for example, um, let's say your man does say, I don't like you wearing that. You're thinking of what other women are going to say. If they say, oh, you did that for him, and men are kind of thinking, oh, my boys are going to think I'm a simp if I do that, if I do this for you. So I think it's also letting outside forces get in the way of your relationship and not realizing that the relationship is about you two and about
Right.
the longevity of it. So I think women who do that, they may lose focus of the end goal, which is a long lasting happy relationship where both parties are satisfied. But I don't know what to do for my people and who and I've seen this. I haven't been a part of it, unfortunately, or fortunately, as far as they're like, I've been in a marriage a year. And I think, Riva, you can share this as a woman. I
Mm-hmm.
think somebody getting that kind of attention from her. Like maybe not everybody, but and I know some women and some men can just shut down where they don't want anything,
Mm-hmm.
no type of sexual attention at all. But sometimes it is because the guy slips up, the guy starts getting out of shape, the guy stops doing what he used to do. So that's why, as a guy, as fellas, we always got to work out. We always got to make sure we look our best and really put on that romance game the way that she likes it. So you may have slipped up, you may not be turning her on the way that you used to. um you may be leaving her to take care of the okay, so if it's the kids, if it's the headache, Okay, so try taking care. I'm gonna take the kids today. I'm just try everything you can do, and if it doesn't work from there, I really do think you should um go to counseling. I think you should do a whole bunch of stuff.
I think okay, so you answer from the man's perspective. You talking to the man. Okay. I'm gonna
Right.
answer from for the woman's perspective. I think
Okay.
that yes, sometimes somebody does have her um
Because it's hard as a man to say, ladies, you need to have sex with your like.
right, because you're a man. Right. So I'm gonna say it. Ladies,
Okay.
you need to no,
Right.
because sometimes it is the attention, but sometimes, to be 100% honest, it's just waves. Sometimes people
Mm,
who are so drawn into other things, or this is something that somebody said. This is a very good comment. Darrell Blair, either you sexual. Now this is a part of the in Tanya Shaw. Okay, we talking about some real
mm,
stuff. Okay, this is a part of the vetting process. Okay, even people forget this aspect in the vetting process. They want to tell you to shy away from these kind of conversations with each other. They want to try to make it
mhm.
seem as though you shouldn't even talk about these things, because if you talk about these things, he only wants that. He's not interested in you. Newsflash, that's what he wants anyways until he gets it. When he does have it, then you're kind of going to know what's really going on after that anyways. So let's start there. But um it's knowing. I love the way that she said it. It's knowing the language between the two of the people, because for a
Right.
man, for your man, okay, if you're being observant, as we talked about earlier in the stream, if you're observant of your man, your man,
Hmm.
okay, you understand that that is the way that he connects with you. That's the way he feels love. He's not going to come up here, as you can be like, oh, baby, give me a hug. I feel sad. Give me a hug. And he's going to hug you up or kiss you up or whatever the case is. As a man, that's his way of saying, I need connection. I need fulfillment, or I need whatever the case is. So you have to know. Somebody said this, finicky like cats. I know that's true. It's true. Okay. It's true. Women are, it's true. But that's his way of knowing that. And because you know that, you are in gear mentally. Okay. You're aware of that. Okay, he's asking me for something. It does not mean, okay, it does not mean that every single time that your man go tap, 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 you're going to be automatically ready to go. I mean,
Right.
once a month,
Mhm.
you can't even anyway.
You're
Okay.
not obligated. Not obligated every time
Okay.
to.
It means, yeah. And then there's obviously conversations, but if he's more of the time he's not getting anything than the time that he is, there's a problem. There's a
I would.
problem. Somebody's going to fulfill that need. I just want to say one more thing, Uncle, that I want to let you respond to. Secondly, sometimes it is an aspect of a woman who is mentally stuck in a certain mode, right? Like a woman who is mentally stuck in mommy mode, maybe, and she's like, playing with the kids and hugging up the babies and stuff like that. Like, it's kind of like, ugh, like, I'm just so, like, I'm not even thinking like that. I'm not even thinking about that. And here you go. But again, that goes to knowing your spouse, knowing your mate, and also conversations, because at the end of the day, that relationship, you wouldn't have those kids if it wasn't for this man. Okay, he the one who made you a parent. His needs are extremely important. His needs definitely should come first. Okay, before your feelings and stuff like that. And again, conversations. But if it's more times than not, then there is some issues there going on for sure that are definitely not spoken about. But you can best believe though, if you leave your man on ice for a while, he probably already doing something, or going to, or thinking about it. Just being honest.
Definitely thinking about it.
Definitely think
For
about it. And
sure.
you don't even want that situation, because what you want, somebody else will. What you want, she will.
Two
Oh,
times.
not tonight for you? Oh, 3 times for her. What'd you say, Uncle?
Hunk. On that note,
On that note,
for
true
real.
though. It's true though. I think he might be coming on, but it's true. I mean, like
Oh, my fault. My fault.
it's
I thought I
okay.
was on. What are the confines of the relationship that, like, whether she was where she was, actively in it in the beginning, or that's what she always was? Like, Is like, I think that a relationship, what makes a relationship is y'all have more relatable than simply sexual activity. So like, I mean, like if it's a situation where she changed up, like I said, like Boy said, like there's stuff that he might need to do. He might have fell off, or he was somebody that he wasn't in the beginning, or maybe somebody got in her ear and made her feel some type of way, or whatever it might be. Because like I said, there is a habit where men only defy the hey, why the fuck somebody calling me?
Somebody
Oh,
always
I'm sorry.
calling. Oh, you're always so busy.
But I'll piggyback off that real quick. Like
Poor uncle.
us men, you gotta study, you gotta do the knowledge. You have to understand your body, you have to understand her body. You gotta look up KEGELS. You gotta do your Kegel exercises. You gotta understand.
Okay, because hold up now.
Mhm.
Okay, because what you don't want is the other side of the aspect where he's not interested. 'Cause- okay, keep going.
So, oh, there's also exactly what they say, hot dog down the hallway. Like you don't want that. Like you want to be able to analyze and realize, what to do. So we gotta. And again, I wanted to say this, River, when you were talking before. A good book for understanding that is Men versus Mars. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus by John F. Gray. He explains how men relieve stress and how men love versus how women love. So you kind of got to understand the differences between the two. And again, if you think that, men have no feelings or the sex is just sex to them, sometimes it is, but other times it's to establish and foster an emotional connection. So,
Yeah, and also they have needs too.
and they have needs.
Just simply, just
Mama got to have a life too.
right. Hi, let's talk the listen. I just saw your comment in the private chat. I have
Yes.
been scrolling back and forth. I did not see you sitting there. I promise you. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I've been sitting here for like an hour now. That's messed up.
I'm sorry. Okay, you have the floor. Let me move this
How
comment.
y'all doing? How y'all doing? First, I want to say, how's everybody doing?
What's
Well,
going
thank
on?
you
What's
so much
up?
for asking.
Hey, what's happening, brother? How you doing?
I'm blessed, man. It's even more of a blessing to hear all of this beautiful truth that y'all sharing.
Thank
But
you.
every time I turn to her show, she always got some good knowledge, wisdom, understanding, education, information for the people.
Oh, thank you so much.
You know what's sad? I'm listening to everything, and y'all speaking some beautiful truth. But I'm also looking on another channel where another sister say, are black men destroying the image of the black woman? And as I listen to you all speak this beautiful truth and share all of this education, I'm thinking to myself how the black man is messed up, how the black woman is messed up, how the black child is messed up. And like I say, in this channel right now, they live, and she said, are black men destroying the image of black women? So I begin to think about not only how the black man is messed up, the black woman is messed up, the black child is messed up, but they pointing fingers at one another. This is what I call mental health. This is what I call crazy. See, because when you don't have that knowledge, that wisdom, that understanding, that education, that information, that's mental health. When you don't know when all you know is darkness and that ugly lie, that's mental health. When you don't know the beautiful truth and you don't know the light, that's mental health. And everybody pointing fingers at one another on top of it. This is bigger than sex. This is bigger than pointing fingers at one another. This is bigger than us. We got a lot of black men who have, and then I listened to you use the word grown. If that story is true about Revelation 12, verse 7, when When the devil was kicked out of heaven, he was kicked out because he thought he was grown. My grandfather used to say, you give them a rope, they'll think they're a cowboy. You tell them that you give them an inch, they'll take two.
Right.
And that word grown, so I say, what is grown? What is grown? Just because I'm 48, that don't make me grown. Grown is being educated. Grown is maturity.
Right.
Grown is knowledge. And there's a lot of black men, black women, and the black child who don't have that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, even by the time they reach 48, 49, 36.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what got the devil kicked out of heaven, because God gave him a whole lot. But he got beside himself. He wanted more. The 7 deadly sins. Greed is one of them. But this is bigger than sex.
Mm-hmm.
This is bigger than that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the lady say, knowing the language, knowing each other's language.
Yes.
Man, this is sad how the black man is messed up. The black woman is messed up. And the black child. And that's the reason why this topic you are having is being had. But where is the solution to the topics? You go into the schools and you don't see no parents in the schools. Didn't no parents come to school to check on me? I was raised by the streets. I was raised by prison. I was raised by gangs. And somewhere down the line, I had to break that cycle. I had to break that before I reached the age that I am. And I broke it more than 20 years ago. But for the most part, I was raised by the gangs, the streets, prison. Because they said take a tribe, but there was no more aunties in the tribe. There's no more uncles in the tribe. There's no more daddies, no fathers, no mothers, no women in the tribe anymore. The public, the people, society is raising the tribe.
That's why we have these conversations.
Right, there ain't no therapists in the schools anymore. No deans, no counselors. Parents don't go to school to check on their kids. I'm in the schools. This is what I do here in Colorado. Me and my wife, both teamwork make the dream work for 14 years. We in the schools. So I don't see no black parents checking on their kids because I'm eating lunch with their kids. They just say black people have been known, not just the black people, but I'm gonna speak for my race. Because all races is going through this. But I'm going to speak for my race. You go in the schools, you don't see no black parents in the schools. The preacher came to church to preach a sermon, but the preacher can't even tell the congregation about no story in the scripture because either the congregation ain't read or the congregation barely know the book. The teacher came to school to teach a sermon. To teach a lesson. But she can't teach a lesson. He can't teach a lesson because the teacher and the preacher got to be our kids' parents. We are our kids' first teachers. I'm my kids' first teachers. My mom and my dad was my first teachers. Maybe they didn't know how to be parents just because you make a baby don't make you a mama. Just because you make a kid don't make you a daddy. Even a dog has to be taught and trained.
Let me ask you a question. Who was having the conversation that you were talking about when you said
I got it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me make sure I say the name right. Chez Charday, CHEZCHARDE is live right now. Are black men destroying the image of black women? The black man is destroying the image of the black woman. And the black woman is destroying the image of the black man. The black child is destroying the image of the black father. The black child is destroying the image of the black mother. And the black mother and the black father is destroying the image of the black child. And everybody pointing fingers. Like I say, the teacher came to school to teach a lesson. But she or he can't teach that lesson because the teacher got to be mom and daddy. The preacher can't. Go ahead.
What you're saying is valid. In different aspects, but I do think that it is vital. Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me bring. Uncle said he can come back on. He was on the phone. One aspect of the conversation was just the fact that in getting us all together, right? And having these conversations for solution, having solution-based conversations. It's necessary that we do talk about all aspects of the conversation.
And that's the beautiful part about your channel. That's all y'all been doing is speaking solution. Y'all speaking solution on here. Y'all speaking the truth on here. You speaking the solutions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful that these topics are being had. You guys, you always going hard. I grab my wife, babe. She going live, babe. Listen to her.
Thank you.
You always speaking truth. I love your channel. You always giving people, everybody. And Uncle was going hard too. Uncle was killing it. And I don't even know Uncle, but Uncle, you was killing it. Y'all speaking truth. And like you said, these topics need to be had. Everything y'all have said, I have sit here and I have listened. And everything y'all have said, you spoke truth. And I was looking at this channel.
Right.
You know, just like I said, I was thinking to myself how y'all on here speaking the truth. And how these people on her channel, they speaking the truth too. Mm-hmm. But I'm still seeing the problem at the same time. You know, it's gonna be spoken too. The problem gonna be spoken in different aspects.
Right.
All of this gonna be so different aspecty. Mm-hmm. So I can relate to you when you use the word aspect.
Yeah.
But that's all I wanted to say. We just got to do better. I would love to see a lot of parents in the schools with their kids. I'm my kids' first teacher. Me and my wife is our kids' first teacher. Not the public, not the people, not society, not the gangs, not the streets.
Right.
But me and my wife is our kids' first teachers. So that they don't grow up to be caught up and entangled in these topics where they on the negative
side, right?
Or in this lady's channel, so my son don't be destroying a woman's image or a black man's image or his own image. So I'm gonna teach him, I'm gonna educate him, and then I'm gonna make him sit down and look at a live, like a beautiful live like this. Mm-hmm. My kids they don't get to just play video games and they gotta watch TV, they gotta get some education.
Right.
And the schools ain't the only one teaching them. Like I let the school teachers know I'm my kids' first teacher.
Yeah.
So be careful. You know, we got in the schools right now. The schools is trying to teach our kids about Black history. A white person trying to teach my kid about Black history. I've already taught him or her that. They know that. And I want to know what you teaching my child when you're talking about that. Because I know I can do a better job. And it ain't about competition. But I know I can do a better job than you can. Mr. Whoever this white person may be. We the ones supposed to be teaching our kids.
Yeah, that's how it was.
But there's not enough parents. There's not enough aunties, uncles. There's not enough grandparents. There's not enough outstanding guidance in the tribe anymore. But thank you. Y'all are speaking truth. And the brother with the tie on right there.
Appreciate you.
This is not the first time I've seen you. I've come on here and watched you, Mr. Edward. Shout out to Mr. Edward, and salute to Uncle.
Yes.
Y'all
appreciate you, homie.
I mean, just listening to y'all speak. You know, when I first came in, you know, I was still gathering it up. What I'm saying right now. God had put words in my mouth. And I realized when I first came in, be patient, be humble, son, because I ain't done putting these words in your mouth. Mm-hmm. You know, and I realized as I was listening to words, everything just kept falling in place. But I don't want to keep talking. I just wanted to say that and share that. And y'all killing it right now. I hope people is learning from this right now. If you toxic, stop being toxic. If you a crab in the bucket, stop being a crab in the bucket. Get some knowledge, get some wisdom, get some understanding, get some education. I had to, and I'm still striving and thriving for more as the world turns. Mm-hmm. And be kind to yourself and be kind to others. To everybody that's listening in the comment section, everybody, And I hope more people start listening to your, checking your show out and watching you, because you're a teacher. I told you that the first time I came on. You're a teacher. You're an educator. You're a mother. You're a teacher. And I'm glad. I thank God and the ancestors for sisters like you.
Thank you.
And I want you to know, if don't nobody else tell you, I'm listening. I'm watching. And God bless Mr. Uncle and Mr. Eric. God bless y'all, and I'm out of here.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, at first I was a little confused. Okay. At first I was a little confused, especially because of the title of the stream that he was talking about. When he said the thing about the black male image. And then when I realized that it was from Shay Sade, I realized that obviously she's not saying that they are really affecting the black male image. She's saying that to have a deeper conversation, you know? But when I hear the thing that he's saying, I hear a lot of people say this. I hear a lot of people talk about the whole structure. And I just want to touch on that really quick. And then we're going to go back because I know Uncle has stuff to say. And then, you know, he got a phone call. But the thing is that if our whole family structure is not, if daddy and mommy can't get it right in a relationship, okay, neither one know anything about the vetting process, don't know how to get to know somebody. They're going to procreate and create a child that is either fatherless or motherless, okay? And at the end of the day, you know, they are going to create a structure that is going to be in the continual fad of broken home, broken family, broken relationships, single parent household, trying to level up, trying to get this, trying to get that, trying to be on one accord as a family structure, and not getting, okay, that balance that's necessary. So at the end, the most important thing is our relationships with each other as husband and wife, because at the end, in relationships, you know, that's the only way that our family units, our lifestyles and everything can change, is if we build up our community with strong families. Okay, if our families are not strong, if our communities are not strong, if you have somebody in the community and only one person is married and everybody else is single, baby mama or baby daddy or whatever the case is, how can we build strong communities to teach our children anything less? Because maybe, yes, they will see you, who their parents who are married, and they will have you as an example. But when they look around them every single where else, they don't see that again. They don't see another person that's married. They only see their parents. And maybe your personalities might be different. So maybe they're feeling like, how can I have that same structure when I'm a little different than you are, or you're a little different than I am? So it's important to have our families together first. It's important to have the relationships peaceful first. Okay?
Yes.
They're not coming in the house and having hell. Right? Like, they're not staying in the car. Like, I love that Uncle said, Sister Shahrazad Ali. I love Sister Shahrazad Ali's mindset, you know, that the man just stay in the car because he don't know what he gonna get. He don't know if you're gonna argue today, if you're gonna cry, fuss, you
That was
know.
my father. My father was like that. Always had to sit in the car, have a drink, had to go to the liquor store before going in the house because of, his wife's I don't want to blame his wife, I'm so sorry to air this out, but and she knows she wasn't the nicest person, but sometimes you got to do, I think that comes from not knowing yourself, like the brother was talking about, and having that self-love. So when you don't love yourself, you can't love other people. And it comes from, so in our communities, in African American communities, Jamaican American, anybody of African descent, it's normal for us to have good relationships and marriages. It's not, or sorry, it's natural, but it's not normal. You don't
Right,
see it all the time. So it's
right,
part of our culture, but not part of our tradition. Our
right.
tradition has been failure and destruction and arguments, and I don't need you, you don't need me. But our culture is that without each other, we are nothing. So we love to quote the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. But we don't quote the other one that says, children not taught by their parents shall be taught by the world. And the world has
Yeah,
horrible stuff to teach them. So
Yeah, the world not running out of stuff to teach them. Okay. You want something else? Because we could teach you something else. You want what you said? You want something different? Because I got something different for you. What you said? All the bad things? I got you with that too. You know? Is that the
No
moon
different.
coming through your car, Kushan?
Yeah, it could be.
Wow. That's
That's that
right.
cartoon.
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
right. It just caught my eye. I'm like, wait, that's so the whole window. That's crazy. But anyway, I just wanted to
mm-hmm.
touch on that because I saw his passion about the conversation. And you know what I wanted to say to him before he jumped off? He just said what he said, okay, and he just jumped off. I wanted to say to him that, give thanks for, him and his wife's structure that they have together, especially when he talks about all the experiences that he's had, being incarcerated and like being raised by the streets and stuff like that. The fact that he chosen, just like Uncle has told us so many times before, to want to see a different outcome for their children, right? To be that person. Like, I'll be damned if you don't have me around, or if I don't steer you in the way that I think you should go. So definitely, like, kudos to what was his name? Let's Talk Truth. Kudos
Let's
to
talk
him
truth.
for that. I really respect that. Okay, Uncle, you back again. Uncle, are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm back.
Your phone been
Yeah, I
blowing up
mean
tonight.
that's the nah. Yeah. I don't know why, but my phone cut off and stuff. Sometimes I guess.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the like, and that's crazy. It reminds me of reading Malcolm X's book and reading Tookie book, Stanley Tookie Williams, and just like, and to read Langston Hughes' book, and nothing changed. it's just like we living in the same. It's just like nothing on a social level has changed, but I think that, like, even though that not changing compared to now, where guidance, like as I'm gonna keep on beating the same drums. I'm not gonna go on a big tangent, but it has to be a group of individuals that's gonna have to sacrifice in order for us to get back into shape, because unfortunately, like I said, this like I said, to be honest with you, I never knew it was this deep as far as the marriage deficit and this gender war thing. I'm used to living my life because I mean, I live in a highly populated black city, and I live around other highly populated black cities. So a lot of this, I see black women when they are damsels in distress, some black men come and help them. So this perception of black men that I see on the internet, I'm like, where the hell did they live at?
Right.
Right. Yeah, like, so it's just like, and like to go on what the boy was saying about the lady title, like I've been on like basically what she doing, and she's basically asking a question. It seems like it's just seeming like it's basically being an antagonist about with the title, antagonizing people.
Right.
Just so they can, it's an attractive marketing technique.
Right.
So, but yeah, though, a lot of females feel that, and I don't think they feel that. I think they feel that based upon the black manosphere, that black men are doing this to black women, because a lot of truth is coming out about them. That a lot of men, we are really not chatty patties like that, or we're not really. We stand on. We're accustomed to staying in the barbershop or staying in the locker room type conversations. This is the first time that we has been public about our grievances, while they've been public about their grievances against us for the past 60 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like they're. So that's what I think that the root to where that's coming from, where
Yeah.
she asking that question or pledging that question. It's just like, no, we gotta. It's like it's not just that. Like the boy was saying, like a lot of us are or a certain element of us, or like the men are doing what they doing, or the women are doing what they doing, and it's just like a solution thing is something that we gotta have. The best solution I have is build our own institutions so we can raise our own children. You
Right.
know, it's like that's the best solution because unfortunately, a lot of people don't even got, like I said, unfortunately, that family structure is basically died. It basically died. Like the sense of family died. The sense of
Right.
community died. Like
Right.
I know it's like it used to be. It used to be like a ritual every summer to to gather up. Families
Right.
gather up. Nowadays, it's just like is if you see somebody who have a family reunion, you like wow. Like even family reunions, like we don't practice community activities no more. Like
Mm-hmm.
even block parties are rare nowadays. Like we don't commune with each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we have to get back to them activities. And that's one thing I like about the Black Manosphere is that even though a lot of people might not get along, but you know,
Tell the truth now. Tell the truth.
people are cooperating in the same space. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Mhm.
I see people who don't deal with other people, in the middle, and they not like, all right, you don't like this person, so I'm not gonna be mad at him because you don't like him. You just don't like him, and then I'm gonna move on. But
Right.
I think that we have to get to the point where we definitely gonna have to devote that time and energy to getting our community back in shape. That's why I was like the other coaches do. We need to have a union where we have to have a union where just to fund people so they can get. We need to figure out a way where we can organize or we can increase marriages so
Yeah.
children can be into happy homes and to the children who are growing up parentless because there's no such thing as a single parent. Parent implies two. Um,
Mm-hmm.
to a lot of children that growing up in parentless homes, they need to have it need to be something like village concept that, like if their mom ain't got the time to give them the human nutrition they need, then they need to be somebody that's down to give them that. Or if the father
Right.
ain't around, they need to get that human that masculine nutrition. So it's just like it's a
And I
solution got
think,
to be had,
yeah, and
huh?
and you know what too I want to say is that I think that one of the biggest things is that people are having children with somebody they would not want their child to grow up to be. They looking at that
Hmm?
man, they would never want their son to grow up to be the man that they chose to lay in the bed with.
That part.
Mm.
You know, the man that they look at and they're dating and they sleeping with, they don't look at him like that. And vice versa for the man. The man is not like, oh yeah, this is somebody I definitely would want my daughter to grow up and act exactly how she acts. So in doing so and keeping all that stuff, just going blindly into the dating world and in that aspect, you're going to create broken families and broken structures because at the minute that even if you and that woman's relationship don't work out, every time she sees her son, she sees you and she doesn't like you.
Mm.
Well, imagine how she treats him.
You
Exactly.
know, y'all know how it go. You just like your damn daddy. You look
Damn,
just like.
daddy.
Mm.
Right.
So he thinks that okay, if he isn't worth anything, that means I'm not worth anything. So vice versa goes for girls and um and boys. As far as that. Tiffany Haddish shared that on the Breakfast Club. If y'all check it out, and she said, "Oh, since my mom said my daddy wasn't anything, I thought I would." She said because
Mm,
her mom said her dad was ugly. She said, "Oh, I'm ugly too," and it took her years to get
mm.
rid of that. So words are powerful. Words are everything. Your word is your wand and your word is your world. And that what you speak into the world shall come into fruition all the time, even now.
It's true.
So
I do have something to comment on this because this is the one thing that I talked about like 2 lives ago, and was talking about it now. There is a lack of real male role models, or yeah, for sure, and there's already blueprints out there for us to follow, but we want to do it our way, and I think that that's a bad way to do it. Just my personal take on it. We
Hmm.
want to do it our way instead of working in the confines of what's already working. Like
Right.
there is a Chinatown in every major city all over the world.
Hmm.
Why don't we have that for black and brown people? And
too much
that's what
ego.
I'm not gonna lie.
exactly.
Hold up. Let's stop right there for a second. This might be another conversation, but I know people might be like, Riva, like, the conversation is about one thing, and here you go again, venturing off. But in light of Black History Month, that I completely, I feel like I'm always doing the work of our Black ministry. I feel like I'm always doing that. But I want to have this conversation today. Okay. And this is so funny because I honestly was going to skip this live stream. I was going to change it for a different day. And I'm like, you know what? Nah. On Monday nights, we get together and we have a talk. I don't want to change anybody else's rhythm that's expecting it. So it's so funny that you said that because I was watching something the other day. A couple things I think ended up leading me up to that mindset. And we're probably going to have to touch base on that next week. But that crab in the barrel mindset within our community is so detrimental. And people think that, them throwing you down to the bottom so they can climb up to the top so they have somebody beneath them, they think it's helping them, but it's hindering all of us in every aspect. One thing that Uncle just said, and I'm just going to touch on this for a second and I'm going to keep it pushing. One thing that Uncle said is like, everybody in this space doesn't even like each other. And that's true. Okay. That is true. I myself have found some people to not be who they, I would say maybe as
Portray.
genuine. Yeah, I would say not everybody is as genuine to the conversation. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, and I don't really like to mix and mingle that much. Besides of where I am, just because of that. And I think that the only reason why it doesn't become a bigger deal, even though we have seen some spats of like division, is just because people are dedicated to the greater conversation, right? So because of the greater conversation, it leaves people in a space where they kind of can't like call people out or say certain things because they don't want the message to be tampered with. So that's a one good thing about this space is that people kind of stay in their spaces even if they don't connect or anything like that, just because of the greater like I said, conversation. They don't want that to be misconstrued, so they're saving the message. So they're true to the message, but they might not be a true person, if that makes sense, or a genuine person at heart. So I'm just gonna leave it at there. Okay. Think of that what you may, but I'm just saying, that whole crab in a barrel, like he said, like our communities where we can look around, we can see a plethora of different communities that will flourish and that will help each other. And with us, it is just not the same thing. It's not.
It's just like the saying, we are not what's the monolith?
Monolithic.
Yeah, we're not monolithic. I mean, I believe we're polyolithic. I believe we're polyolithic. We're basically an amalgamation that don't cooperate with each other unless it's detriment to our survival. It's just like, it's a prime example. We only meet each other when it's time for a funeral. You know what I mean?
Sad.
That's the only time so that's when it's time to be outraged. But outside of that, we don't commune with each other. And I think that, to be honest with you, I think the manosphere is a healthy example. We're not all gonna it's impossible for everybody to agree or be on the same page.
Right.
But I believe the message that we're going is, I mean, the path that.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Sorry, we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, somebody called me again. The path that we're going down is basically we're communing with each other, and not to I credit, I can't remember this man's name, and I'm so sorry I can't, because it is Black History Month. I mean, the man that invented the .com software is responsible for this. You know, and how he lost the ownership of. He's a Black man. He developed. The reason why we're able to get on the the reason why we're able to get on the internet is because of his software. And the reason why he lost it because he tried to go to all the famous people and the rich Black people so he can get some funding so he can keep it going. And they wouldn't support him, so he was forced to sell it just so he can get out of debt.
Wow.
So, like, I'm talking about, he had the dominion to authorize you to use .com, .net, .gov. He created the software that made getting on the internet what it is today. Like, if you want to be technical, that he's the father of the internet that we actually use. Just like the cell phone, or the invention of the cell phone. We use a digital cell phone. The cell phone that we innovated the cell phone.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? The cell phone that they're talking about that other person created was a walkie-talkie.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, it's a lot. So I think that a lot of our ancestors or elders made it possible for us to communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And basically made the world smaller.
And I want to say, I know Zeus also had another point to make as well, but what you just said, Uncle, is so very, very vital, that it makes the world smaller. But that's the thing that I think is why change is imminent. Like, you can tell the same topic. Should you change? Now we talking about changing now as a community, so that even goes even broader. But I think that it's definitely among us. Because I see a lot of people. I don't know if it's just because of maybe like the fact that I do reactions and stuff like that. So it's kind of like my algorithm when I click on different things, I just see conversations. But I don't even think so, because I just think, like, even when you look on like the Shade Room and stuff like that, there's always conversations about our relationships or about dating advice or about, maneuvering, and it's just opening up such a broader conversation. But so much is coming from it. Like, there's so many people who bring different aspects to the conversation: health, finance, community based. Like, there's so many people that are joining into this conversation. Again, people have said it to me before in my comment section. Oh, you guys are talking about relationships. Look what's going on in the world. Exactly. That's why we're talking about relationships, because from that base of the home, if your home is not good, you can't do nothing outside. How you gonna go outside and defend anybody when your home is a mess? It's not. You can't even get outside to get there because y'all too busy arguing in the house before you get to the car. Okay, she telling you go straight because that's where the people at. You're supposed to defend. And you talking about you need to make a left. Y'all done crash, like, too much, So I love that off of these relationship conversations, broader conversations are definitely happening. And I know, Zeus, you wanted to say something else. I just cut you off, and then I didn't want you to forget your point.
No, it's fine. Like, whenever I own a business in Tokyo and in Hong Kong, so I'm a part of like city hall meetings and zoning meetings. I never see anyone that looks like me. Never. Even though there is people that look like me, they never show up. They're not a part of the conversation. And even in America, whenever my father would go to these, whenever they patrol your neighborhood area.
Neighborhood watch?
Yeah, like neighborhood watch and things. My dad was the only Mexican guy there. we don't, we want to do things our way, but we could do it the way that they're doing it and really get farther.
Yes.
And it's at a detriment to us because there's scholarships out there for kids, but we never see them because we're not a part of the conversation.
Can I say one more thing? Every time you say something, I have to say something. But I
Yeah,
want to say
yeah,
one
yeah.
more thing based off of that too. The saddest part, okay, and this might, some people might get this, some people might not get this, but I'm not going to delve into it, so don't ask me any questions, okay? But the saddest part is that the way that everybody else is doing it is the way that we did it.
Yeah.
But then they took that away from us. Then they started doing it, but they saw us doing something, said everything that we're doing is wrong, took it away from us, started doing it, separated us all, started taking babies and kids and husbands and wives and splitting up and then going into this kind of like breeding mindset with, strong and strong. We don't care that you had your own family unit. And then just leaving us to kind of pick up the crumbs and do with it what we may. So then we
Yeah.
think that we're following them if we look at all of these other people who are doing things community based, but it's actually our way.
Yeah.
Reverse
the whole nation,
psychology.
the whole nation, like
Right.
the Nation of Islam, they did it all before everyone. They did it, and then it all collapsed or whatever happened.
The guy name is, I'm sorry for cutting you off. The guy name I'm talking about, Emmett McHenry. He's the guy who created the internet that we use today,
Wow.
or the technology.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Ghost in the Machine, how are you?
I am fine, madam. I am fine. Can you hear me? Can
Yes.
everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Look, I have been watching your content for probably about 2 months now. I actually got involved with your channel through my wife and
Wow.
starting to listen to it. And we have a channel. We have a couple of channels. And what we deal with, a lot of relationship issues between men and women. And because I am so much older than you guys, and even though I don't know exactly how old any of you are, I have to say I'm fairly sure that none of you are 59 years old.
Right.
And I'm fairly sure that none of you have been married for 17 years to
Right
one
now.
person,
Yeah.
And what kind of halfway interests me about a lot of the young content creators on YouTube is the fact that some of you guys is barely 30 years old and y'all been married 2, 3, 4 times, and you wonder what the issue is. And what I like to tell people is this: you 30 now, one day you're gonna be 50. And a lot of times with our younger generations, we have a tendency of not understanding what we're here for. We want to make all of these metaphysical reasons why we here because God said we was going to do this, and we here because the universe needs us to whatever. Listen, you here for one reason and one reason only. Each of you has something special, something genetic about you that you need to pass on to the next generation. That's the reason why you're here. And we can get caught up in the whole is she fine? Is she small? Does she have no kids? Blah, blah, blah. When you get 30 years old, fellas, and I'm speaking to the fellas, I'm not speaking to you.
Right.
Right. And I appreciate that. Adding the, you allowing me to come on here and run my mouth. But for the fellas, you're not always going to be 30. You're not going to always be a 36 in the waist. You're not always going to be able to put 315 on the bench and rep out a few, reps or whatever. One of these days, you're going to look up and you're going to be in your 40s. And you're going to be looking for a wife. And you finding a wife is going to be somewhat difficult for you because now the game has changed because of how old you are. Same thing with you ladies. You're not always going to be 36, 24, 36. Sometimes you go into, especially if you have some kids, you're going to end up being 38, 40, 42 or whatever, you know. But you can't let that stop you from finding love in this world because your immediate purpose on this planet is to pass on your genetic material to the next level, to the next generation. That's your job. Your job is to create a family. Your job is to raise that family and to create that family where your children could be more than what you are right now. And the only way that that's going to happen is you're going to have a cooperative relationship with your woman or your man. You know, we got to stop getting caught up with ladies. He ought to know when I want flowers. Or he ought to know when I want. That's how life works. Dudes are simple. Sex, food, safety. That's our job. That's all we feel like our job is, for the most part, you know. And anything beyond those three things, we have a tendency of not seeing. We see it, but we don't recognize it. And because we don't recognize it, y'all have a tendency of thinking, oh, well, he don't care about me. And I did a video on my channel that I still haven't posted yet. I got to do some editing to it. But my thing about couples, especially young couples, is that y'all give up too easy. You know, the first time you hit a little bump in the road, y'all have a tendency to say, I'm going to throw the whole relationship away, you know. And the difference between y'all and us and our parents is they didn't give up. They didn't give up. They went through Jim Crow. They went through slavery. They went through the 70s and the 80s, and I was around for the 70s and 80s. They went through the 70s and the 80s when drugs hit the neighborhood, when government assistance said that if you have a man in the household, you can't get government assistance. So a lot of people couldn't pay their bills. They went through all that, and they still stayed together. You guys, oh, he didn't bring me flowers for my Valentine's Day. Oh, my God, it's over. I'm quitting you. It's over with. Because we have a tendency of looking at marriage like going together with papers. That's not how it works. When you marry another human being, be it male, male, female, female, male, female, whatever it is your thing is, I'm not making no judgments here. But when you get to that point, when you decide that you want to have a marriage and you want to have a relationship with another human being, you have to understand that as of now, you two people. You two people. You're not one person. You're not doing your thing. She's not doing her thing. Y'all doing y'all thing. Because all of you have recognized, whether you know to pay attention to it or not, but y'all recognize you can't make it in this world without two incomes. Unless one of you make at least 80 grand a year, y'all can't make it as one person. He can't make $40,000 a year and take care of a family of 5. That's not happening anywhere in the United States. And because of that, then you guys have to come to some kind of happy medium where you can continue to be the person that you think you should be. I can continue to be the person that I think I should be. And we can move together as a family because this is about these kids. Because you might be 39. You might be looking at, 50 years in the future. You might think that you're going to live to 80, but it's not promised to anybody. Hopefully, Lord willing, all of you will make it. But what happens when you're 80 years old and you look back upon your life and you say, what could I have done differently? You could have done a whole lot of things differently if you listen to people who actually been through it. If you have a a family member that's been married for 20 years, why don't you go to that family member and say, oh, how have you put up with her for X number of years? Auntie, how have you put up with him for X number of years? What made you survive when my other aunt or my other uncle didn't survive? And they can give you pointers. They can give you guidance. They can give you guide points. This is what you look out for. This is how you handle certain situations. And as the younger generation, we about to be out of here. This world is going to be you guys's, to take forward. And when you're taking that future forward, you have to understand it. You have to compromise. You have to communicate. You have to talk to your spouse. Your spouse has to talk to you. You have to get away from material things. How much money does she make? How much money does he make? Does she have a degree? Does she have this? Does she have that? Is he fine? Is she fine? You got to get away from that. Because, hey, if you don't get married by the time you're 30 years old, your fineness fades. Your handsomeness fades. And then you end up in a situation where people are dealing with you because you got money. Or dealing with you because you have the opportunity to provide them with advantages they wouldn't have had if they had not have met you. We have to start thinking about our next generations, especially in this time that we living in now, because it's getting rough out there and it's only going to get rougher. And like, I don't want to get on my soapbox. I don't want to sit here and just pontificate to you guys like I know everything, but I do know a lot. I have seen a lot in these last 60 years of my life. And trust me, you guys are on the right track because at least you're talking. A lot of couples are not talking. A lot of males, a lot of females are not talking. They're not trying to figure out what it is that I need for a person. I don't need necessarily for him to be 6'3" and 225 and have a 6-figure job. I don't need her to be, Megan Thee Stallion or something like that. I don't need her to have a PhD. I need somebody who I can have peace with at home, that I can raise sensible, successful children, and that we can go into the future looking out over the sunset, and she is just as comfortable with me as I am comfortable with her. And we take it from there. And of course, there's going to be times that things just ain't going to work out. But if things don't work out, oh, well, that's part of life too. What you also have to realize is that that's not the end. Because it didn't work out with that one person doesn't necessarily mean that it can't work out with somebody else, but only if you don't carry that baggage from that first relationship into your next relationship. And I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you guys talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And so basically you're saying that change is necessary.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can't be in a relationship if you don't change. I get it, fellas. Trust me when I tell you. I was a DJ. I was popular. Women loved me. But when I got married, right, all that had to change. Not because I still wasn't capable, but simply with respect to my relationship with my wife. Right. Those things had to change. And if you think you're not getting ready to change, you got the wrong idea of how marriage works. If you think that you can do your thing financially, you got your bank account, you make your money, she make her money, y'all do your thing, blah, 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 blah. If you think that those two things are not going to be like this, you got a wrong expectation of what marriage is. Because as I said before, there's only 20% of us in the United States, black people, I mean, there's only 20% of us that make $100,000 a year. So where are all these 6-figure Negroes that you think that y'all get ready to catch? They ain't out there. They're not like that, And if you make 40 grand a year, like TLA says, get you a prenup. You make 40 grand a year. What are you protecting? You don't own a house. You don't have an extremely large bank account. You don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have this. You don't need a prenup. What you need is somebody to be on your team, somebody to be beside you, not behind you. Because a lot of people say behind every successful man, there's a strong woman. No, behind every successful man, there's a woman that he was his partner. There was a woman that she actually checked all those boxes that he was lacking. Our problem is, as Black people, especially as you youngsters, I'm gonna say, y'all gonna respect my elder. So I'm gonna say this as an old guy looking at you youngsters. Y'all got a tendency of marrying yourself. You want a female that's just like you. You want a guy that's just like you. He likes the same thing. He reads the same books. Likes to go to the same concerts. He likes the same music. But you have not really thought about the fact that the things that you're lacking might be things that she could actually compliment you on. You should be looking for a compliment, not somebody what is the sense of you marrying yourself? So it could be two messed up people in a relationship? What's the point in that?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your input. I really, really appreciate it. It's the first time I've ever seen you on my channel. But for sure, I'm live every Monday. So on Mondays, whenever you have time to come back in, would definitely love your insight. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Not a problem. Thank you for having me. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you.
Have a good night, man.
Did either one of you have any thing to add to that, or did you?
How did you follow that up?
Right. Exactly.
After that.
No.
First we got the uppercut, then we got the knockout. First.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean that's you spent some good game, some good information. Game is just a different terminology for knowledge. That's all.
Right.
Yeah. Some people think anyway.
I think we're gonna have to lead into that conversation next week, though. Because you know why? Your girl Rivah keep it real, right?
Yeah. Keep it real.
I'm gonna keep it real. The thing is that of course, like I respect the people who are older than us, of course, that have been married. I mean, he's been married for 17 years, and I definitely respect that aspect of what the conversation. But how our time has drastically changed. Drastically. We can all remember when there was not even MySpace, right? And then there was MySpace, and that was different, but it wasn't something that necessarily took up a lot of your time. It wasn't something that was easily accessible on your phone, even when you pop open a Sidekick, okay, or your
For everybody that's under 25, a Sidekick is a phone.
The Sidekick.
Look it up. Soldier Boy got a
Soldier Boy, right? Or the Razor phone. You couldn't even really go on to the website because of the fact that it would be glitching and stuff like that, and then became Facebook, but Facebook was for grown folks. We was on MySpace. We go, do our page, design it, have a little top 8, and then we back up. You know what I'm saying? Now we're in a space where you're watching people's lives on the phone all day long. Everywhere you go, you see people like this, watching the phone, seeing who's doing what, comparing yourself to other people. It's a really toxic place. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very, it's not good for anyone's mental health if you're on it all day long. But so the dynamics of relationships have drastically changed from then till now. So with that happening, technology-wise, relationship-wise, right, AOL chat, okay, for real with the emojis, hello.
I was in Yahoo chat.
Okay,
Yahoo chat.
I remember Yahoo
What you
chat.
know about ASL? ASL.
Okay.
Oh man.
Black Planet. Black Planet.
Yeah.
What you was doing on Black Planet now?
Oh
I feel like
man,
Planet
No,
don't
still
get me
up.
started with Black Planet, man.
but like we had so many different avenues, but it wasn't the same. It didn't take up, the same energy. It wasn't in our
Right.
hand,
Mhm.
right? So with that happening, so many things have drastically changed. But then I also kind of feel like, and we're definitely gonna talk about certain things, and I'm not gonna be too vocal because sometimes I'll be saying something, then I see somebody talking about it, and I'm like, okay, why you did that? Okay, but I'm gonna dive into it. But also, just the aspect of like a lot of the people who have been married for a really long time from then till now. I'm not saying this man at all because I don't know him at all. He just came up, but I'm just using what he said, and I was thinking while he was talking. A lot of them have that mindset of happy wife, happy life, and that's the reason why they have maybe their marriages have withstanded the test of time compared to maybe other marriages where the man said this and she said this and it was over because he wasn't budging and she wasn't budging, and so they're at odds with each other. Sometimes when it is that person who will bend to the attitude, because I did hear he said like you have to get over the looks and the this and that, and I do understand that to an extent.
To an extent, yeah.
To an extent, okay. I'm not saying everybody not gonna be no IG model.
Nah.
Okay, and the IG models barely even look like the IG models when you really see them anyway.
Thank you.
So
They be having special effects.
right, but you do have to be attracted to your person that you're with. That
Absolutely.
is necessary. You know what I'm saying? The personality does matter as well, but attraction is very important as well. It's a very important aspect, and even when maybe she does have a child or two, it's important for her to be thinking about her image as well. Yes, I said it and I sound so harsh. That sounds so harsh, but it's
Real.
true because of how you feel after you have your children, and how you feel when you look in the mirror with yourself is going to affect how you maneuver through your relationship with your spouse. It's going to influence how somebody experiences you because of how you feel about yourself, because of your self-worth or lack thereof. So I think that there's different aspects to that conversation, but I wanted him to be able to say everything. I didn't want to go too far on a tangent because I do want to actually just let everybody say everything that they have to say, and then we will reconvene next Monday. But yeah, that's all I wanted to, your girl Rivah. I'm not gonna just, agree and not.
Let me say this before we go. I think when people get in these relations, I believe marriages are legacy based, lineage based. I believe the people who have marriages should really, you gotta really see whether they are word is bond type of people, whether they willing to be a slave to their word, and because because that's the biggest issue. A lot of people get married based on fickle things. Like emotions. It's just like that's need to be a conversation that need to be had with people who want to get married. Like, what you getting married for? You getting married for solid for easy access of sexual, you know what I mean? Or you getting married because you want to raise children and have a family and make sure your little me's develop to be better people. Like, what is the purpose of y'all coming together? If y'all not coming together to raise a family, then what is the point of y'all even getting together in the first place? So that's just need to be a conversation moving forward. Like, what y'all getting together for? Like, the boss said prenups are not. I mean, to be honest with you, I think prenups, even if you ain't making a lot of money, is the best thing you can do in nowadays time, because you have chameleons where they show you the best part of it, best part of the and like like I said, once men reach a certain age, you know what I'm saying, or they might meet their stride, and or or they might bankrupt a man if because some females really get married to people like prey on hardworking men too.
Yeah.
So it need to be since marriage, like people don't understand that the word marriage is kin to the word merge, a business merger. Two families merging. So that's what need to be understood. Like, yeah, prenup, get you a prenup, even if you ain't clocking a lot of dough. You don't want to. It need to be written down. Like if we have kids, we're gonna have 50-50 custody, and it need to be written down. If y'all have kids, the time and all that. So when it comes time, everything should be written down because.
Right.
Yeah, I'm done.
No. I'm agreeing with you. Those things should be established in the beginning of a relationship so that okay, upon this, we agree on all terms. That way, I think that's a good way to also know who you're getting into a relationship with. Because if she can't agree on nothing, if she's like, no, I want everything, no, I want, then it's like, well, what are you really in this for?
Right.
For me or just for my stuff? And I also don't want to shut out the aspect. Some people cohesively get married for finance. Okay. He makes a certain amount of money. He knows that she's with him for his money. He's okay with that. She's okay with that. And they make it work and nobody's going anywhere. Because there is different types of, like you said, merging. I like the way that you said that. There's definitely different aspects of merging. Kashawn, what do you think about this? Everything.
Ugh.
I know. We caught Kashawn at work too.
Hey, I didn't want to miss this, man. I couldn't miss it. A lot was thrown out tonight. A lot.
Whole lot.
Stuff that we really hadn't touched before, but still connects to everything we've been talking about. Where do we go with this? Well, like I always say, the start to anything, the relationship starts first. But if you're not whole yourself, there's no way the relationship or the marriage will be whole.
That's true.
And like we've been talking about tonight, change. When you get with the right person, when you meet with that right person, even when you're just in talking stages and you're getting a feel for this person, if they're exuding the certain things that you're looking for, things you don't even know that you're looking for, that makes you basically look in the mirror at yourself and like, do I have that? Do I need? Oh, I need to change that. Wait a minute. This is what's been the problem. Okay. And you go from there, and you start making those changes. But as time goes, as you grow, the change comes along with that, whether you want to change or not.
Right.
Time, life, society, everything changes, and change is very necessary, especially in the times we're living in today.
Oh gosh, for real.
And I think the biggest thing is the way society says relationships go is completely backwards, upside down, inside out, and turned all the way around. Quick, a 360. It's not right. They're moving away from the true values, the true what marriage actually is and should be. And they made it a plaything. They made it a toy. And now everybody's doing any and everything they can think to do in a marriage. Open marriage.
Yeah.
What is an open marriage?
Right.
If you're getting married, what is the point of thinking about outside? You have made the vow to marry this person in front of you. Why are you looking on the left? Why are you looking on the right? Why are you looking behind you? You're supposed to be face forward with this person.
Well, I think, okay, hold up. I'm not going to say nothing. But don't say nothing else about that. Okay?
We can say that for next week.
Okay. Because somebody said, oh, okay. I just want to make sure that everybody knew what this person said. Okay. I want to say something. I want to read this comment, and then we're gonna go right to Edward as well. Big Meech said, "I respectfully, and not to be confused with another Big Meech, okay? But this Big Meech said, I respectfully disagree with the brother. Men gain value as they age, and women lose value as they age. No shade to anyone, but it is what it is. I agree with your statement. I agree. You know, a man who's in his 40s, maybe he just hit the ground running on his business, or maybe he finally got his credit together. He's well off. You know, he looks good. He stays in the gym. He's fit. He has access to women who are like in their 20s. You know what I'm saying? Early 20s. Just being honest. You know, they're legal. They are definitely legal, but I'm just saying, a man will have access to a plethora of women who are older than him and younger than him. Maybe a woman who's at that same stage. It doesn't mean that she won't have access to these men, but can she get these men to actually marry her when they have other options as well? It's not the same thing. So
Right.
I definitely agree with that statement as well. Edward,
Yes.
your
Thoughts.
turn.
Thank you, River, Uncle Loke, Sean, everybody who came up. Big Meech. Man, we talked about a lot of things. I appreciated a lot of the people coming from the historical perspective. I remember being at my university and a speaker by the name of Kamal Kenyatta came, and he said that our problem as Black people is the culture crisis. We don't know who we are. And the thing that, because I was on some other live streams as well, just listening, and I'm like, they wild. So I think the reason, because I was trying to think what makes this one so, because when someone's talking, we really listen to each
Yeah.
other. Like everybody's not like "Ka, ka, 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 ka," or nobody's up here capping all day, talking about this and that, and I was on another one, and it was just like you could just tell, like, dudes who, like River, you always talk about the experiences with people are just like, oh man, again, it is what it is. But I, so what I'm, why Edward, why do you keep going on these tangents? What are you trying to say? Gratitude. That's the reason why you change. That's the reason why you tune in. That's the reason why we have such a connected, you feel so connected to this live stream when we're talking, because we're talking with gratitude. Italy. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. Actually, it wasn't Lapeef. It was some people from Lapeef who were there. But Lapeef is also one of those, but this one is a little bit under Lapeef, and that one is just like Lapeef on steroids, because there's no Lapeef to guide the conversation gently. It's just
I know
people
what you're
just
talking about. I know what you're talking
going
about.
off, and it's like all day,
Yeah.
all night.
Okay, so you're just dropping all the descriptions of the show.
Well, it could be, and I'm sure I'll get there. But I just felt myself. I was in the chat, and I felt myself just acting out of character. It reminded me of when I first went to Hampton University. I had stopped saying nigga. I had changed my diet. We're talking about change. I did a lot of change. I changed my lifestyle, and I found out when I was hanging around certain people, I went right back to where I came from. So, or right back to the nonsense, because they were on the nonsense. So I
Right.
feel like I even when I didn't want to be, I felt attracted to the same environment to
That
do
happened
those
to me one
things.
time. Okay, this is a safe space that I've created, so I'm gonna say that that's happened to me one time, and it was just like somebody. It was a troll, and I really don't care. I really don't care like about trolls or anything like that. But it was this one troll. I know exactly what you're talking about because I've been there. Okay, a couple times, and they were just going on and on and on. And I didn't like lose my frame or anything like that, but I did address that person, live. And then I was like, for what?
For what?
Like, for what? But it's just because of the energy, like, of the conversation. It will mix you up. You know, if you're used to edifying stuff and then you hear foolishness, you're like, oh, hold up, oh, what the hell? Like, what you said, you know? But it
Absolutely.
so what you're saying is valid. That's very true.
It's the environment, like,
Yeah.
and we're human. I think we forget that. And what I wanted to say, so there were like maybe 2 or 3 key points I wanted to say from the beginning. So
Hmm.
the first part is this goes in business or relationships. So y'all remember this. This comes from Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich. Don't
Hmm.
talk about Fight Club. You already know. You already know. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm thinking like since oh wait, we got to go back to it. So I'm just like I'm like yo, if I get so I feel I'm cooking in the comments. So I start roasting like I'm just so I'm like yo, if I get on here because it's like
Start
um
roasting.
right. So we call it like a and excuse my crassness, because I am bougie. That's why I got a suit on. But and I also have high expectations of myself, so and others. But it's a pissing contest. We call it a pissing
Hmm.
contest amongst
Hmm.
men,
That's exactly what it
or
is.
or who's Johnson is. So it's like
Hmm. Hmm.
everybody capping like they get all these. All right, anyway, but
Right.
and
Right.
later for
Get
that.
it.
But yes, it's just because they're not whole, like you said, Kashawn, they feel like they have to compensate. How do you have a right to criticize? Because I used to be like that.
Yeah,
I used to
exactly.
wear the chains, the most expensive thing. You talked about the T-Mobile sidekicks. For me, it was throwbacks and fitteds and do-rags. I had to have the latest. Look at me because I don't have enough inside. So I
Mm,
have to change the outside, but
mm,
really, if I changed the inside or got back to where we came from, I would know that I'm already worth something. What I was explaining
absolutely.
Mm.
to Lena before. So the two
Hmm.
things I wanted to say when I we got a little sidetracked was that you have no right to ask anything of anybody else unless you give them a good reason why it's going to be good for them to change. So, whether it's money, whether if you want a raise at your job, you have no right to ask for it unless you are benefiting them. You give them a good reason to do it. So,
Mm,
I think a lot of times we demand the change from our husbands, our wives, our girlfriends, our boyfriends, even our friends, but we don't give them equal we don't give them a good reason to change.
mm,
So a lot
Mm.
of a lot of times when I got finessed with women or relationships because I allowed myself to be because I didn't give them a reason to,
Hmm.
if you're always giving to somebody for free, you know,
mm,
like don't pull it back now, you got
mhm,
to keep.
Right.
So a lot of us, like someone said before, we try to pull it back months later instead
mm,
of, so for all my dudes, who have been getting, I know we're talking about change, but I just like try to save dudes like for all my
Yeah.
brothers who are
mhm,
constantly getting friend zone. You know what did it for me was I say straight up, and you don't gotta be everybody feels like they have to be this alpha male a-hole. You ain't gotta be like that. You have
you
to be
don't.
like, yo, I'm looking for this. That's what I'm looking for. Are you looking for this? And most dudes don't even say that, so you could already get everything out the way. So,
Hmm.
and from my experience, and I had to think about this, when a woman likes you or is interested in you, like you said, River, she will change. You don't got to. It's almost to a detriment, almost because if you're a good dude, there's nothing she won't do. But if you're a bad dude, there's nothing she won't do for you. So if you're in that situation, I've been in a situation where I've abused it, and there's situations where
Hmm.
I haven't abused it
Right.
because sometimes if so when it comes to changing, you're as a woman, you're going to manipulate your man. As a man, you're going to manipulate your woman. She's going to want to do stuff for you. But the point is to do it in a positive direction, in a positive way.
I get what you're
If she's
saying.
if
Mm,
she's gonna if she wants to look good for you, if she wants to do this, you encourage them in a positive way. So there was one other thing I wanted to say, but I don't remember what it is, but love yourself, appreciate yourself. Back to the topic, I just want to should you change at all for a relationship? yes, but you should be coming from a state of gratitude and being genuine. Like for example, um, if I was quote unquote in a relationship, if it's something petty, like your hair or something like that, um, the person should wanna look good for you or want to it what your opinion should matter, so
Mm-hmm.
you should be hitting the gym. You should be, what do you think about this? What do you, or not even just paying attention to this person, you know, when, even if it's just my friend, I'm, my, some people they say they don't believe in zodiacs, they don't believe in this, they don't believe in that,
Mm-hmm.
fine. But I study people, so I know I need to know your birthday. I need to know what you. So I'm gonna find out what you like just based on your reactions, And as women, they seem to be pretty good at that, noticing what makes a guy's, what a guy likes. They just maybe some women don't feel like doing it, or they think, I shouldn't have to do it, or But it's
Yeah.
just come from gratitude, come from righteousness, be genuine as far as the brother who was talking about, I appreciate your advice, and I think it is for people who are thinking long term, and you really got to do the self work and self improvement to get to that space. A book, Ayanna Van Zandt, if y'all like her, she wrote a book called "In the Meantime: What
Mm.
You Should Do in Between Looking for That." Perfect person. So you got to read, you got to study, you got to master the information. And a lot of us are talking from our righteousness now of knowing where to go, what to do, and who to be. And I'll leave it at this is the very last thing before we move on. I think Riva, Kashawn, Uncle Loke, everybody who came on, we're talking to each other, yeah, but trust and believe there are 15-year-old boys and girls watching this that they're trying to just figure it out. They don't have the experience that they can't tell what's cap and what's not. They might go to the other channel where they're talking about I don't take a bath in 5 days and I get all the girls, and they do things like of that nature. I told you it's the Wild Wild West there, but it's like people take people's words for truth and not experience for truth. So listen to what we got to say, but also go towards your own experiences as well. So
Yeah.
because experience is the best teacher. So
Yep. And it's some grown people too, 14, 15, and some grown people.
Oh yeah.
I
Who,
just
Oh,
never knew, never
yeah,
learned.
just never knew.
absolutely. And they should understand that when we're speaking, we speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we gotta make reading attractive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's another.
Absolutely.
Like how like I said, the how I learned how to read was, like I said, I learned how to read by listening to music I like
Mm-hmm.
and having somebody print out the lyrics for me, and that's how I learned how to read. And
Wow.
I learned that at age 13.
Wow.
That-
Okay.
That's real. And
That's
Yeah,
real.
it took me.
for real. You made me want to say something. You talked about Malcolm X's book. That was the first book I read on my own. I was like 19 years old. Like that book, and like you said, nothing. The reason I was attracted to that book, and all black men should read that book, I think,
Mhm.
What's the name of the book?
because the autobiography of Malcolm X by
Oh,
Alex
yeah.
Haley.
Yeah.
It was so relatable.
Interesting point. A lot of the books that I've ever read about, Malcolm X or whoever it may be, all from my stepdad because he loves to
Mhm.
read. I used to always go in his books and read his books and figure out what is this that he's reading.
The
What is
catfish
this
frying
that
dude.
yeah, cat, okay, fried catfish
Mm,
now. Don't
shit.
yeah, from
Catfish.
Arkansas. From
Mm.
Arkansas. Okay, you
Mhm.
don't play. But yeah, that's very true. Guys, please, Uncle Kashawn Edward. Okay, Monday. Monday. Monday again. Okay, that's coming. We have something to talk about. And I'm gonna actually drop it. I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna drop it in the back chat from tonight. So that you guys can kind of get your brains working towards Monday of what
Mhm.
it will be so that we can go ahead and so you can have a little just your thinking cap on, but just so many things that we touched on today, it kind of made me think about certain situations. So I definitely want us to have that conversation. And for everybody who joined, who called up, everybody who left a comment, came in, passed through, said hello, dropped one thing that you said. I appreciate you for spending, even if it was a portion of your Monday evening with me. I definitely appreciate it. I love you guys for being here. Thank you so very, very much for joining in, for having this conversation with us. I love you so very much. Okay, I really do. Hold on a second, y'all. I can't multitask. I can multitask, but not that good. Hold on. I love you guys very much, and I appreciate the continual support. And I know that I say that all the time, but I genuinely want to just, say that towards you guys and look at you guys and say that, because it really, really means a lot to me that you guys are open to these conversations, And I've said this before, and I want to say this again, okay? I do my reaction videos and I have my conversations, and it's just me talking, right? It's me talking to you guys, explaining what I'm seeing. Most of the time it's foolishness, okay? But for this, my live streams on Mondays are dedicated to me spending time with you guys. Okay, so I appreciate the like I said, the communication and just the space that we have to hang out with each other. I really, really love it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Everybody who came up, again, thank you so much for your input, your thoughts, your feelings, your comments. We love you, and I will definitely see you guys tomorrow in my next reaction video, but I will see you guys next week for my next live stream. It's going to be every single Monday. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Love you.
You can step into my world, see the way I see it, no matter near or far. It is a sight worth seeing. Step into my world.